I got one question with this.
Go on.
How is Dean Ambrose alive?
You know,
It's just like the man is made of rubber.
Yeah. It gets back
That,
up again.
or he is also part of the creations of Stamford, Connecticut.
Yes.
WWE headquarters.
He had Chemical X put in.
Chemical X, or he is a clone.
Oh, he's a guy that's got tons of Ambrose clones. When one of them dies, they just put it. That's why he doesn't have any injuries after his match.
That's it.
Oh wow, you're onto something there, Matt.
It's like X-Files.
It is. You're one of those conspiracy nuts taking pictures of the sky. You're taking the pictures of the sky and making that your proof that WWE is using genetic experiments.
That's it.
Yeah. Matt, do you fancy a world title shot? I can tell you how to get one. Do you think you can take on Seth Rollins for the world title?
I reckon I could.
Yeah, I reckon you've got a good chance. Well, all you have to do is have a shit in his travel bag. Because you just have to piss him off. You get title shots.
Yeah.
So I tell you what we'll do is that we'll fly over to his next show, get backstage, you take a big flaming dump in his travel bag. Well, we'll put it on fire afterwards, right? Because I'll help you, of course. And then I'll take a picture, or like a vignette of the flaming poop, and you can call out Rollins. There you go. You're on a WWE pay-per-view, Matt. Well done. Awesome. Matt for WrestleMania. Can we get a hashtag going? Matt for WrestleMania against Rollins? I think we can get that done. Apparently, though, however, commentary have absolutely no clue what he meant.
Yeah. So they clearly didn't see what we saw last week, where he just decided to touch Renee across the face. Pretty.
Oh well. Maybe he got confused and thought that she was one of the rosebuds. Who knows?
Well, just like there's a lot of like rather attractive women in amongst the rosebuds.
Yeah.
So surely, like, maybe it's not even just the fact that he's stalking Renee; it's just the fact that he's a massive sex pest.
he's a big ass pervert.
Much rather than just stick him like go with like a sexual deviant than a stalker.
Just suddenly he's just getting very turned on by every woman that he sees.
That's it. Like, it actually turns out like someone has to come and save the day, and he's just got women in his basement or something. I don't know, just Cripple Minds that shit. I don't know.
Matt, you are not a PG booker. Let's just say that. My wife says, "How do we guys ever get laid?" My response to that is, she should know. Bitches love the podcasters. That's what I say.
Chloroform.
What? What the fuck? What are your sexual exploits?
Chloroform.
You stand by that now, do you?
I still stand by the stinky rag.
The stinky rag. She dropped the title in the bottom of the ocean. Yeah? Fair enough, she loses the challenge. And, it's not exactly great, doesn't look good on her. I'll accept that. The words that are dropped, man, the look on Hogan's face when that comes up, it's almost as if you farted in his daughter's face. He had the look of utter disgust, saying along the lines of, "That's an insult. How are you going to be able to take a real championship across the country as champion?" Yeah. So also you're saying that, oh wow, taking a championship, putting it in your car, driving to your next event. Man, that's next level shit. If you can't...
Oh shit, it's in my bag, and I need to remember my bag?
Yeah.
Jesus, that's got other things in it.
We get R-Truth on commentary for a third week in a row. 3 weeks we've had R-Truth on commentary. In a row, because apparently the first 2 times were fucking groundbreaking, so he needs to be on there. What unholy thing have I done to deserve R-Truth on commentary for 3 weeks? Did I maybe kick a baby? Did I convince Kanye West that getting into music was a fantastic idea? That he should do that? Did I write 50 Shades of Grey and pass that shit onto the world? What did I do something like that to deserve this? I must have done something really, really bad. For our own podcast. And we obviously thank you greatly for taking time out of your busy schedule, your 5 million things that you need to do, and coming here and being on our show.
Thank you. I appreciate that. When I hear that kind of stuff, like people say, "Oh, I started a podcast because I was listening to yours." It's really cool to hear that, and congratulations as you guys approach 100 episodes.
You'll toast yourself. We'll have a beer for you.
We could do better than the beer. We can go a little harder than that even.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you
I'll
what.
get the whiskey ready.
Thank you, Derek. Yeah, this guy's got the right idea.
Yeah, Matt's got all the, he's got a finer taste, shall we say, for alcohol. So I'm sure he'll be able to find something worthy of yourself to sell.
My kind of guy.
Welcome to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast.
You don't have to know history, you don't have to know wrestling, you don't have to know matches. My belly's just a little big, my hand is just a little big, but brother, I am bad and they know I'm bad.
There is no revolution.
You are truly the future of Lucha Underground.
I got it. How about a little heel turn?
And if they piss somebody, if they tick somebody off here, well then, there goes their career.
Well, don't piss anybody off.
That's some intro right there. All the best bits of this year. And I don't know about you guys. I don't know who was the best this year in terms of myself or my co-hosts. But I just don't know. We can't decide. But regardless of that, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. We are 2 years old today. And what we do on this show is, of course, we review Monday Night Raw and give you guys the wrestling news of the week. My name, as always, unless I change it for some random reason, is Turbo Tony. And my co-host, who has been so eloquently captured on audio for this entire year, giving fantastic sound audio bites of hilarity as it goes on, is actually Kanye West and Kim Kardashian's newborn child. So he's wearing his birthday suit on this episode. Matt Marsander, welcome to the show.
The fuck?
Yeah, how's Daddy?
No.
No? No?
No. No.
No, so you're saying you're not?
No. Not going down this road.
No. Okay. Well, it's a bit of a shame, isn't it?
Off the closest high point I would throw myself. I'm sorry.
So you're saying you would off yourself if Kanye West and Kim Kardashian were your parents?
Well, if I could like sacrifice myself to a greater being that knew how to write wrestling shows, then yes.
Well, what a sacrifice you would give to us, wouldn't you? We are getting a little bit dark, though. That being said, on the show, we've got plenty more episodes to do that, Matt. You can't go away. It's the way it is.
But it would be for a better show.
It would be on everyone's best. Well, thankfully that isn't the case. I was blowing smoke up everyone's asses there a little bit, as I do every week. Do you remember last year, Matt? What did I tell you last year on the first year anniversary? Can you remember what I called you in the intro?
I don't.
You
know.
don't. You don't. Well, I do. I called you. Was it Matt Marsander version 2.0 because you could slam a tornado? It was either that or Big Sexy Kevin Matt. That may have been episode 50. So
oh dear.
It's one or the other. Matt, we're 2 years old. I give you a round of applause.
Huzzah!
It's fun.
On to another 2 years.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, anyone that doesn't know, the 1st of December is actually our official birthday. That's when our first episode actually launched on this show. You can go back. Episode 1 was launched on December the 1st, 2013, which just sounds bonkers to me. Yet you've got other people that have had podcasts for like 7 or 8 years. Once we get to that point, I'll feel even worse, I imagine, in terms of feeling old or anything. But I'm sure we'll get there. But yeah, we had our best bits at the start of that show. We hope you guys did enjoy that. Matt, if they want to send us what they thought should have been in that montage, what is the Twitter handle to do that?
The Twitter handle of @TalkWrestlePod.
That is the one. You know it. You are the master of the Twitter domain. And that's what we call it.
Well, or just everyone turns around and goes, that I was the funniest, it's fine.
Yeah, it is the home of the Marsandia Mafia, so I'm sure that they would be on your side. If you want to be on my side, which isn't really my side because we're both on there, but regardless, facebook.com/Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast. Like that page. Join in the chat. We're having some good interaction with some of our fans on there. Some of which have left questions for us this week, which we'll be answering.
Mm-hmm.
So, damn. So that's all that. You get the insider of how we've watched Raw that week, how bad we're feeling, the news. We put it all up there. We try and get a post at very least once a day. Sometimes we just splurge and go crazy. So, excuse me. That is, I'm actually suffering with, like I've had this 2 week stomach thing, like chest infection. So now I'm like covering all like the fucking what I like to call the holiday crap out of my lungs. So there's a visual for you. Yeah. Let's Talk Wrestling podcast where we talk about the gunk inside of your throat. Sure.
There we go.
There we are. Talking of gunk inside, no, well, that's quite a mean transition. I won't do that. What we got on the? Someone's going to be wondering what kind of joke I was going to make then, and I felt horrible about that. What we got on the show for you this week is the 2-year anniversary of the show. So do you know what that means, Matt? It's the LTW Awards.
Hey.
Oh yeah, that's at the end of the show after the Raw review. We do obviously have our news, the fan feedback, answering some pretty humdinger questions, if you don't mind me asking. And also we've got the NXT report card, which is more and more each week turning into the NXT. We'll talk about whatever we like about NXT show segment thing. So
yeah.
We haven't actually graded anyone in a while, so let us know what you actually like in terms of, do you want the report card back, or would you rather just us cover NXT as a whole, especially as we go up to just over a week away now is the special in London, which
Take over London.
We're going to. Just a small thing about that, Matt. It's looking more and more likely that we won't be putting out an episode like an extra throughout the course of that week. It looks like we're going to have like a massive bumper episode on the week.
Yeah, sort of trying to fade out that way.
Yeah, we may not even be able to cover Raw, if I'm honest, because we'll have to catch the pay-per-view. We'll probably have to review that.
Well,
NXT.
With how it's been recently, I couldn't give a shit if we don't watch Raw.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty much what we're going for there. Anyway, Matt, I've procrastinated more than enough. I've plugged all I can plug. As I always say each and every week, they come to our show to hear us talk about wrestling. It's kind of the name of the show. We should probably begin doing just that. Are you ready?
All set?
Are you ready? Yeah.
Dun dun.
That's it. Maybe I should use a soundbite on that when it's time. So the news. Interesting news this week. Melina. Oh yes. She's been canned from Lucha Underground. That didn't last very long, did it?
For one TV appearance.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, at the end of a match, no less. Now, apparently this is... Lucha Underground said that... well, they haven't actually said much, but reports were stating that it was along the lines that she had been, and I quote, difficult to work with, which that particular line, unfortunately, hasn't been the first time that it's been said in relation to Melina as a whole, right?
That's true.
She has this reputation, Matt, which often precedes her, of just not working, not getting on with people, right? You know, and this comes after a week, Matt, where she put up pictures on her social media accounts of Johnny Mundo, you may know him as Johnny Morrison, or John Morrison as he was in WWE.
Yep.
About his penis pills. Yes. So.
Oh, she did, didn't she? Yeah.
Now the problem is with that being, you know, just a little bit embarrassing. Not everyone has the manliness of a Stone Cold Steve Austin to openly admit that he takes, you know, a few helpers to satisfy his wife, and he doesn't give a shit about it. You know, not everyone has that same level of confidence, Matt, when it comes to saying that they take performance-enhancing drugs, right?
Yeah.
Which may be a way of saying it. But the main problem with this is that when she said put those pictures online, they had his home address on them. Good job.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm jittery about putting my personal details online. I'm not even a celebrity, right? He is, right? That is dodgy in
It's like, they'll find me.
Yeah, it's actually quite dangerous, if I'm honest,
Yeah.
right? And like I said, this isn't the first time that Melina, weirdly, when she gets more attention, the weirder and more kind of crazy
she
gets, right? And it's like I said, it's not the first time. Matt, we've heard this before. This isn't our first rodeo when it comes to Melina. We've heard all these stories before. But I certainly hope this doesn't harm Mundo's association with Lucha Underground, because he was doing some stellar work there, right?
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that he's going to be safe.
Yeah. It may be one of those things where they've always had a very strange
He better be safe.
Yeah, he better be, yeah. But they've always had a strained relationship. This may be just one of the more down parts of where they are, but it's just awkward. It really is.
Yeah.
And apparently she's been. The word was that she's been replaced. So I don't know if they're just going to go, oh well, now Johnny Mundo's girlfriend that he's had for years is this woman, and it just walks out. It's completely different, and it's sure. So we'll go with that. More stuff this week. Did you hear about Mick Foley's son, Matt, this week?
I did.
Interesting.
Which was quite interesting considering Mick Foley recently.
Yeah, with all Foley's statements. In fact, he, unlike Matt and to a certain degree myself, he wasn't as critical of this week's Raw than he was last week. Matt, by the way, I can give you guys a spoiler, was telling me he's going to roast the show this week. I'm excited for that. I could barely temper your anger when it came to Raw this week, am I right?
A joke.
I know, you've been trying to calm yourself by playing Fallout, and guys, I don't think it's worked. So, yeah. Back to the matter of hand, though. There was rumours going around, they've now announced it. He is going to be a writer's assistant. So, whatever his impact on the show will be, well, it has been hugely overplayed by some fans. They're saying that, well, this guy could be the savior of the show. He could write all the storyline. Oh man, it's going to be amazing, and you get ideas from his father. No,
Wrong.
it's not. He's not even anywhere close to that. And truth be told, even the writers that he's going to be working for, even they don't have much impact on the show, because ultimately they give the script to Vince, and he will say yes or no. The only person that makes any difference is Vince McMahon. He's the only person that can hugely influence the show from top to bottom. So I've seen some fans saying this is going to be the turnaround, and I'm like, the kid's young, first of all, right? This is his first entry level job into WWE. Guys, calm down. If this was anyone else, you wouldn't care. But the fact it's Mick Foley's son, everyone's going, "Oh, this is going to be it."
Just complete batshit crazy over it for nothing.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll come good, Matt, but I think they're kind of going a little bit too crazy about it now. So.
Yeah.
But I hope it goes well for him. I needed to bring it up because, to be honest, it was a bit of a slow news week, and I just wanted to bring it up because people were getting a little bit overexcited, about this. And
I think it's because of Foley's recent statements that he's made.
Yeah.
So that's all about Mick Foley might be giving up on Raw, but his son's now a writer. So what's gonna happen? It's yeah.
Yeah. It all depends on. Like I said, it's just going to be something that goes down the line. Even if he becomes a full-fledged writer, as I said, it's the most influence you have is telling the wrestlers what to say and do. But even then, that's still dictated by Vince. To be honest, you got an army of writers, and yet none of them can write a decent storyline at the moment in WWE. And the reason being is because it really is only one writer in WWE, and that's Vince. That's really the main thing.
Yeah.
Still, Matt, good news for Raw this week. Their viewership is back above 3 million viewers as of they managed to go.
Why?
Good news. Yeah, well,
they chose a wonderful week for that.
Yeah, I mean, I do hope that WWE keeps that less than 3 million rating in their minds, because I get the feeling that, and I'm not saying I know this for sure, and maybe I'm completely wrong, but I get the feeling that the management in WWE have basically dismissed that less than 3 million rating and said, "Oh, it won't happen again. It's fine. It's not a problem."
It was a small hiccup.
Matt, it was the haters. Remember, it was the haters.
Of course, that don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Even though they're fans, right? Still. I mean, like I said, I'll say what I said last week. I never thought that Raw would drop below 3 million viewers, at very least not this year, and it did. I think WWE should keep that firmly in the back of their minds. Otherwise, they go into the same. They go into the same cycle, right? Then nothing changes. They just keep doing what they're doing.
That's it.
And then we get the same shit.
It worked. Yay.
Yeah, that's it. And that's the news this week, really. Really, not a lot, to be honest, on our second year anniversary. Maybe they chose to go easy on us, but still, I'd like to hear what our fans' thoughts are on that in general, on that sort of thing. But it's stuff like, especially like some Mick Foley's son. Sometimes fans, we cling to things, we cling to little strands of possibilities when they're not. They're just going to get your hopes up and break you know. They're just going to get your hopes up. That's what it is, you know. So, it's like my children at the moment when they keep asking for too many Christmas gifts, and I'm saying you're not getting everything. Don't get your hopes up, because otherwise it will never ever be as good as what you think it will be. So they are getting a shit ton of stuff though. So that still is that. I'm one of those people, Matt, where I'm like, you know, one toy, maybe two toys, more than enough. You buy them too many, then they don't appreciate the toys they have. They play them 5 minutes, they never even look at them.
Oh yeah.
But you know, the wife, she's a bit softer than I am. Chose to go ballistic, and she's crazy with Christmas cheer. And you know what? That's fine with me. I'm not too bothered about that.
I still couldn't give a shit.
Yeah. You're not with the Christmas mood, Matt. Have you got your Christmas tree up?
No.
You don't. I'm looking at mine right now.
No, mine's still somewhere under the stairs, probably.
Yeah. Well, humbug to you, huh?
Humbug indeed.
Humbug, right. This is how you run your mafia, I'm guessing. You don't. Christmas isn't allowed in the mafia, so maybe.
Yeah.
Fan feedback, Matt. Are you ready?
All set.
Now this is a lot more bigger. This is a lot more juicier. We've got some questions here that will challenge our perceptions, and the first of which challenges us right away. And this is the reason why I like some of the questions from some of our fans. Sometimes they will look at the things we've said and say, well, actually, I believe otherwise. And here's my views for thinking that. And it gives us a good way to talk back and forth and give our thoughts and explain maybe in further in depth why we said what we said to begin with, you know, to go into it more. So the one that does that this week is a comment and a question. Well, not so much a question, but a kind of a feedback on what we said from MC Schwabo. Do you like that name, by the way? Rolls off the tongue. Oh, that's nice. I like that. It says that they dislike Lana too, not just being WWE management. They actually dislike Lana too, as the Ziggler story was his last chance to get over, and now it's gone. That Lana doing what she did and posting up that Instagram stuff cost Ziggler his chance at becoming a big star. And he also said that Pentagon Jr. wouldn't work with the WWE and he listed a multitude of reasons. First of all, just to get the Pentagon bit out of the way, because I think the more interesting thing is the first thing. On the Pentagon front, I absolutely agree with you, but our answer to that question last week was completely without logistics. It wasn't going whether WWE could get him or whether they would want to get him or whether or not the guy would want to go. We were just saying names that we would like to see. Whether or not that was the case or not, that wasn't in account. But yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. Pentagon Jr. for one, but just from the violence angle, WWE would not.
Oh no.
You know, he's. The WWE wouldn't want to touch him at all. So, and that just character wouldn't work in WWE because that character needs to be violent and sick, and you just can't do that in WWE. So,
yeah, definitely.
So back to the Lana thing. So, because on the Ziggler front, I actually firmly disagree with the statement that it's Lana's fault for blowing Ziggler's last chance. And I'd like to go with this, Matt, and explain before you give your thoughts. Is that all right? Is that okay?
Fine.
Right. So. And it's not so much about Lana. I mean, like I said, I've already said about that, but I want to explain a little bit more about the thing about this being Ziggler's last chance to get over. Because I firmly believe, and as I said, this is just my opinion, that most fans at that point had bought out of the storyline. WWE in general had muffed it up by, at first, sending Ziggler away. I think he went to do a movie or something, but he was away for about 4 weeks, where you just had Lana being berated by Summer Rae and Rusev for about 4 to 6 weeks, probably. So then, and then after that, you've got Lana got injured, which she can't exactly help it. She got injured, it happens, right? So what should have been at very most a 2-month storyline suddenly became a 4-month plus storyline. Fans by the second month were like, we're done. Like, we don't want any more of this shit, right? It wasn't so much that having the last match they were meant to have with Ziggler and Lana having that tag team match that they had planned was going to save the storyline. To a lot of people, maybe not to everyone, but to a good majority, the storyline was dead. It wasn't getting any response. People were bored of it. They weren't feeling it. And it just wasn't really gaining traction. And my thought... And as much as I dislike it myself, this also wasn't Ziggler's last shot. I firmly believe no matter if they had completed the storyline to its conclusion, Ziggler would be exactly where he would be. And I point back to what was Ziggler's true last chance to become a main event star. And it was actually a year ago. A year ago, roughly around this time. It was Survivor Series. It was when he was the winner, the sole survivor in the match to beat the Authority. He was the last guy. He had that awesome when it was like 3-on-1 that he did it himself. They had a chance to really promote Ziggler as being this die-hard guy who beat the Authority. But what WWE did is that they refused to back him. They refused to make him a star after such a monumental victory in his career. And then they downplayed his victory by just having the Authority come back 2 months later. Ultimately, this is all kind of redundant because this is the honest truth. WWE just doesn't see Ziggler as a main event star. No half-assed storyline is going to change that. They've had better chances, better avenues to make Dolph Ziggler a star than the Lana storyline or even the Survivor Series storyline. They could have made him a huge star when he cashed in Money in the Bank on Del Rio, had that uber moment winning the World Championship, and then a month later he got kicked in the head by Del Rio, and it was all done. That was the real.
The most disappointing part about that is that when he got kicked in the head, it was sort of like, right, you're out.
Yeah. Yeah, and most people
that was really it.
Most people say, oh, well, he would have won it back if he didn't get concussed in that match. I disagree. I think it was always their intention to put it back on Del Rio and put Ziggler exactly where he should be, which is in his place, right? On the mid-card. Because WWE just don't look at Ziggler as the mid-card. And he got better responses back then from the crowd than he does now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my opinion on the whole thing. I think that... I honestly think that if Ziggler had any chance of becoming a star, he had better chances than they were years ago. And I think now it's too late. Now it's like they would have to really go for it. But by the news of it, Matt, Ziggler only wants 2 years left in WWE, and then he's going off.
Yeah, seems that way.
I mean, he said that himself. You know that he wants to chase this comedy career that he seems to have manufactured for himself. So who knows? I don't know if the guy's funny. I haven't seen anything of his, but. You know, he has been in WWE for, you're looking at a long while now. I mean, the Spirit Squad was 2006, right?
Yeah, he's had a lengthy career.
So you're looking at about 9 years.
Was it 2006?
2006, yeah.
Jesus. Feels so long ago.
He's got a lot of wear and tear on that body, guys, from doing a lot of matches, trying to prove himself. And by no means, guys, people may be saying to me, wow, you're being a bit harsh on Ziggler here. I would have loved for them to take one of those chances to make Ziggler a big star. But, I mean, it's obvious now. WWE's don't look at him that way. They've never looked at him as a big star. Or want to make him a big star. They've just never had it. People might argue that he was born in the wrong era. You know, if he was in the 80s, then maybe he would have got a lot higher than he did. I'm not so sure. I don't know. I think that maybe politically he doesn't have the cutting edge that maybe you would need back in the 80s, which is you step over people to succeed. Don't know. Maybe in the night. I don't know. It's a question for another time, really.
Yeah, it was definitely one we've had before.
What I will say, though, I think he would have done better than what he's done now in a different era. Maybe not a huge star, but I do think he would have done better than what he is now. So.
But which era?
I think any era, to be honest.
Reckon?
Yeah. Anything before 2000, I think he would have been. I think he would have been a much better off guy. You know.
Fair enough.
Because you would have looked at him, and he's another guy like Shawn Michaels, you know. I'm sure WCW probably would have looked at him and thought, we can make this guy into our Shawn Michaels, right? Don't know.
Yeah, or similar to like the Cruiserweight division, and then obviously what ECW made out of it.
Yeah. Back then, good performers were rewarded a bit better than they are now. So
yeah,
but still. But I did like that question, well, that response back, because I just do like it when other people have different
opinions. I was like, well, this is my thought. Good.
Yeah. Just wanted to explain my side, but fair enough. Liam Cook says he's been loving the podcast Liam Cook, by the way, has been very active on our Facebook page, so thank you for that. We've been interacting a little bit there. His question is, if you had to fire 3 main roster superstars or divas,
I saw this one.
who would you fire? Now, I'd like to prefix this question before we begin, Matt. First of all, I wouldn't want anyone to lose their jobs, right? So
I know. Yeah, I know.
And some may say initially go, well, guys, let's look at Adam Rose as an example. Fire that guy; he's annoying. But when you look at the documentaries like E60, where he's basically trying to get everything out of his career.
Seen that.
But Matt, he's trying to get everything out of his career so he can fund his family. His child, his son, I believe, is being fed through a tube in his stomach, right? So,
okay, fair enough.
Like he's not that great off, and you look at this guy; he's just trying to get to make a living for his family, right? So you wouldn't want him like that. So I just wanted to make anything like that. But put a gun to my head because I didn't want to go. So I'm not going to answer the question. If I were a WWE executive, firing people is my job. You watch Breaking Ground; they fire people all the time on that show. So, who would I fire? There's one that instantly came to mind, and people may have already guessed this, Matt. I wonder if you thought this as well. Cameron should be fired by WWE.
Yes.
Now, let me go into this, Matt, because people may go, "Oh, come on, you're just being so harsh on her." I have actually reasons for this. And it's not just she's shit, I'll go into it. Because, Matt, we're not one of those shows that go, "Oh, fuck that," we'll go, "Oh, fuck them."
Is it for her belly pin?
No.
It's not.
No. I firmly believe that she has talent, but not for wrestling. I think that I think she's in the wrong industry.
Okay.
I think she should be in entertainment, sure. But wrestling, I don't think, is for her. And I think she's shown that. She's a main roster diva. She's not applicable. And unlike Eva Marie, I'm actually going to give Eva Marie a bit of props here. Eva Marie, who is slowly, very fucking slowly, but still slowly learning how to use that heat to her advantage. Cameron never really understood it, never really got there, never really figured it out.
Okay.
And she's had multiple years to try and to get to that point. And so that's someone I'd let go. She just isn't applicable in the modern day environment where now you need to be a decent wrestler to really get along, or you need to use all that heat for not being a good wrestler to your advantage, and that's just not working for her. So, would you agree with that at all? Would you?
I would completely agree with the loss of Cameron.
Yeah. My next one may be a little bit shocking. I would fire JBL.
Ah.
And yet again,
is it because?
Go on.
I mean, I'm not gonna. I wouldn't. Like, I would agree with you for JBL.
Mm-hmm.
On my grounds,
yeah,
would be that he is not fulfilling any particular role on the commentary team.
Yeah, sort of. I think also it's along the lines of just sheer quality. I think he's the worst announcer they have. Right.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I mean, Byron Saxton's bad, but he's at a part of his
young.
career where he's young and he can be re-educated. You can send him back to NXT and perform any role that he can want. I'd like to see Saxton try heel position. Just do something different than what he's doing now. It's kind of painful.
Bring Graves up.
Put Saxton down, right? Make him the heel commentator on NXT. Just give him a shot there, learn the ropes, become a little bit more dynamic than what he is.
I don't think I could give Graves any other position than heel commentator.
He's just too good in that role, to be honest. But one of the things I understand that's personal preference, but I think JBL, he's at a point now where, old dog can't learn new tricks. He's dated. No. Yeah, he's a sore point on that commentary team. Saxton's young, he can still be moulded, and I honestly think Cole is still probably the best ringleader they have on that commentator team.
Yes.
I honestly think if, let's say, you had to put Saxton or let's say Corey Graves in this position, having to juggle all this different shit that's going on at the same time, I think that would degrade their quality as a commentator. You need Michael Cole there to steer the ship. And I think he's still fine there in that role. So there you go, JBL. Another person that I would fire, and that's just because they're using him as the world's strongest punching bag, is Mark Henry. I think it's come to a point now, Matt, where he's obviously at the twilight of his career. He's going to probably end up retiring soon anyway, right?
Yep.
So you just be accelerating that process. I mean, I'll probably fire him and then make him one of the coaches because he's got a lot to give.
Oh, I'd keep him around, yeah.
But that being said, I don't have a problem so much with him jobbing out. It's the level of how much he's jobbed out. Now he's done it so much.
Well, that 3-minute match against Neville.
Yeah, but like now he's lost so much there, Matt, that anything he has to give to someone by losing to them, by putting them over, is now gone. People don't... You beating Mark Henry now doesn't elevate you in the eyes of the crowd.
Yeah.
So...
It's like, hey, I beat Mark Henry, good job, so is everyone else.
So is everyone else, right? And we've made jokes on it in this show, so once that's done, then you need to say, all right, mate, it's done. We'll give you your stuff, and then we're going to pack you off down to NXT, and you can coach with Regal and Brookside and all that lot, and Bloom. Watched Breaking Ground with the wife today. She rather enjoyed it, so there is that.
Breaking Ground's great.
It's good. Apart from that episode where there was way too much Mojo Rawley on it, man.
There's always too much Mojo Rawley.
Yeah. Is there anyone else that maybe you thought I left out? I did find this hard because it's just such a hard thing.
Is it really bad that it'd just be me being very selfish?
Yeah.
Like, I'd fire Del Rio so he can go back to Lucha Underground.
yeah. Just fire him now, break his contract, pay him loads of money.
The only thing is, like, seeing as you've gone on the whole, I'm not being such a childish bastard, sort of like...
Yeah. So who'd you go with?
The thing is, I don't... I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
There is one.
Okay.
I would fire... I don't know so much it would be a case of a fire. Remove from TV, from airtime...
Go on.
Booker T.
Okay, or from the pre-show and all that shit.
Yes.
Yeah. He's so dated in that position now. It's painful.
I love Booker T.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's hilarious.
Well,
but
yeah, he's hilarious because you're laughing at what he's saying, not with what he's saying. But yeah,
that's it.
Go on.
But sometimes it's just like, come on now, like, be serious here.
Yeah. He's just, you know what, I would really like that pre-show panel to be taken a lot more seriously instead of them laughing and joking and being fed lines. I would like them to analyze the matches, be like almost like a how they
like
do
a
like the half
panel.
like you know how they do the halftime shows on like basketball. They evaluate the plays, right? They go, well, this is the Undertaker's strengths. Look at his vertical base and his submission ground game when it gets to this is Brock Lesnar's strengths, the sheer power, and they can highlight bits in matches. That's what I would be more enjoyed watching a pre-show like that because it adds to the authenticity.
Definitely.
Of it. But now it's just them joking with each other, and then when they go, who do you think is going to win this match? They all pick someone different every single time. It's like...
Yeah, there's no sort of like mutual, sort of like, this is who I think, this is who I think,
It's like they run them down because he gives his thing, then you give it Saxon and gives his thing, and then Corey Graves is going, okay, which guy wasn't picked? Okay, I'm picking this guy, right? And it's like, you do it every single time, it's clearly just... It's fucking rehearsed.
How does Booker T always know the... like, obviously not the winner, but it's just like... And then you got Booker T, who's like, I'll go with Cena. I'll go with Reigns. I'll go with the WWE choice.
Yeah, so it is along that way, but there you go. So, moving on to the next question there, Matt. Kane St. Dennis says that WWE should try and get Adam Cole. That was back to our relation to what indie stars they should go and chase. Adam Cole's alright. I haven't actually seen... enough of him, which is a shame because I only hear good things about Adam Cole. Have you caught any of Adam Cole?
I can't say I have. No.
No, he's no. I have seen some good stuff, but I only went with my choices of the guys that I've seen more of. Right, so that's it. But his question though is, what wrestling characters do you think would be the worst parents?
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold. Well, yeah, you're pretty bad, I guess. I actually have a killer pick.
Have a beer, I'll kick you in the gut.
Yeah. To like a 3-year-old child. So
yeah.
Or giving him a pet rattlesnake, that sort of stuff. Maybe a bit dangerous.
Yeah, that's it.
Take him out on trips in a monster truck. That maybe a bit wrong. I've got one because there's not so much maybe the physical side; it's the mental side that would fuck up a child.
Wyatt.
So I pick no, I don't pick that. I pick Stephanie McMahon and Triple H.
Oh.
So what they're going to do, right, is that they're going to keep toying with their kids' emotions and desires. They're going to pick new faces of the family according to who does the best, right? And saying that only one of them can be the man.
They have to work for it.
Even though they have 3 girls, I think, but the only one of them can be the man, right? And they make them face each other to see who's the best and stuff like that. So
Okay.
yeah, no, that's it. One other one though, I've got another pick, 2 other picks which are a little bit less, a little bit more crass. Man, I'm surprised you didn't think of this. The worst father would be Snitsky, because he loves punting babies.
Oh God.
He loves to punt a baby to Snitsky. And by the way, Matt, it wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault.
It wasn't at all.
I've got one for worst mother, and it would be Sunny. And I don't mean the character, I mean the person Sunny.
I was going to say.
Yeah, shots fired.
Do
you have any others?
No, I like a Triple H answer. I think Wyatt would be a terrible father.
Yeah.
He'd proper fuck you up.
He would, yeah. He would, eat the heart of this cow, child. You will learn the darkness. One thing I thought with the Triple H and Stephanie McMahon is that they only have one family picture, and whoever is the face of their family, they're the only kid that's in the picture.
Exactly. That's perfect.
Yeah. And also they have J&J Security just playing with them, just... which
as the glorified babysitters.
The glorified babysitters, that's right. Oh yeah, and corporate Kane, as he was back then, just doing their taxes and shit, and every now and then just turning demonic, because why the fuck not? So.
Just occasionally, you just see him twitch. He's like, it's got quite warm in here all of a sudden. You okay, Kane? Just fine.
He turns the fireplace on by doing his hand thing with the brings the flames into the house, turns on the fire. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Kane, by the way, he just puts the fuck. Talking of Kane, the actual our fan Kane St. Dennis asks these sort of questions. They're always fucking hilarious. Love him. OMT brother asks if the Raw ratings were to drop to a 2.0. Wow, within the next year, do you think they would change their product? I think 2.0, if you were to drop below that, is a fairly dramatic drop, and I think that would force them.
I think that will trigger.
Yeah.
The only problem is, it's already on TV. They don't care. I can't remember where it was, what I was listening to, but there was someone sort of just basically saying, it's all well and good saying, what if the TV ratings plummet? The problem... I think the biggest wake-up call will be the time where they go, hey, we've got this pay-per-view. We're not selling out. Why isn't anyone coming to our shows?
Yeah.
Why isn't anyone buying our merch? That's where... they're getting the TV time. That's done. They'll have TV time for years.
Yeah, I mean, what they could afford, technically, the bomb in the next year, and then, obviously, get hot when it comes up to television negotiations. But that being said... if they drop below 2.0, that's very hard to come back from, because that's just the status of your company then, that you're in free fall at that point. But I get what you're saying, Matt. I mean, a lot of people don't put into the limelight just the other streams of revenue that WWE has available to them, especially now with the network.
It's their biggest stream of revenue.
The network, yeah. It is. That TV deal is important, and if they were to drop between 2.0, then sure, I reckon that would mean a philosophy change. However, that's just because that is a fairly dramatic drop. If they go back below 3 million viewers, then it's going to have to take a good sustained amount of weeks with them being under 3 million viewers for them to go, you know what, maybe we do need to change something. You can just see it from the way things are going at the moment. So, but, yeah.
The only thing I fear is they panic and they just the guys in NXT are really good at the moment. Bring them up. It's no, don't rush their do not rush their debut.
Well, I heard that
Balor.
No, it wasn't that. Is that they sent out a fan survey asking what do you like from NXT that they can put on the main roster or something like that. So Maybe they're thinking of it.
What do you like? What do you like on NXT that we could bring to the main roster? I like NXT.
Yeah, just put NXT in that building, and yeah, sure, that'll work. Yeah,
Just give me 3 hour NXT.
no,
No.
you put 3 out NXT, it's still.
I think you could do a 2 hour NXT.
No, you could do 2 hour NXT if they made strides to, have obviously if they've got obviously more money plugged into it and all that stuff. But I think 1 hour is completely fine if they were to. To stay where they are.
I was going to say, don't you complain, Tony? We're not far away from watching a 3 hour NXT.
Yeah, when I go to an NXT, they might as well make it 5 hours. I would honestly stay there for that entire time, but yeah. But still.
Until my arse is numb and fused to the seats, I will stay there.
Yeah, and you're going to have to bring out fucking Baron Corbin and Samoa Joe to lift me out of my seat because I'll be stuck there, so that'll be interesting. Rob asks, what would we like to see Cesaro doing when he returns from injury? From his rotator cuff injury that he had. Now, Matt, I know what I would like to see. And I'd like to see WWE treat his return like a big deal. When I mean that, I don't mean just say he's coming back next week. Woo! I want vignettes. I want a countdown.
Build up.
I want build up. I want vignettes from as long as 6 weeks before this guy debuts.
6 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I would like, right? So you tease it, right? At first you don't let anyone know that it's Cesaro that you're talking about. So maybe the first 2 are teasers and you only get certain shots that he gets the internet a buzz, gets them talking. Then maybe a couple of weeks beforehand you finally get the reveal Cesaro's coming back. And then you immediately put him into a big time singles main event that he can walk straight into and make the return exclusive on the pay-per-view itself. So he doesn't return on any of the Raws. He returns at the pay-per-view, and it's for a match. That you can have someone who wants to call Cesaro. Oh, you think you're a big deal making these vignettes, stealing my television time? No, I'm not going to have that. I'll see you at the pay-per-view, Cesaro, and I will destroy you. I'll put you back on the shelf for another 6 months. So I don't have to deal with you again. Then you've got this match. It's kind of a little bit reminiscent of when Triple H returned and had that iffy match with Booker T at SummerSlam. That sort of thing I'm looking at. But obviously done a little bit better than that, but still. However, what I think will happen is that he will probably just come back in a tag team with Tyson Kidd. So, with probably no build-up, they'll just come out 1 week and...
like they'll make a save or something.
Yeah. You guys have seen this before. You know how this goes, so... But I would like him to come back as a big deal. I'd like for them to do the whole 9 yards, make loads of vignettes, build up some actual interest among people, treat him like, for instance, that one night last year going into Survivor Series, they treated Ryback like he was a top-level main event star for a week. It was awesome.
Oh, what, when everyone was arguing over whose team he'd be on.
Yeah, right? They were treating this guy like like, they were pulling out all the stops to try and get Ryback on their side because he meant that much. Yeah. Ultimately, at the actual event, he got pinned very easily. But,
he meant nothing. But...
yeah, but yeah, that's how I would see. That's how I would love for them to treat Cesaro. Like he is a big deal, right? He doesn't just have random matches on the show. You announce his matches beforehand because they're a big deal. He is a big star. But we could say this about anyone, but that's how I would like for them to do it. Would you like that? Tons of vignettes, building into it, a little mystery, a little bit of intrigue, and then the excitement.
That'd be great. I can't ask. You can ask for more.
Excuse me, Jesus. I think I'm dying.
Sounds it.
Ugh. Let me just wash my mouth out. Matt, you didn't watch NXT this week, did you?
No, I haven't had a chance. I finished watching Raw today.
I'm drinking a bit of Coke. My voice is back. There we go. I'm back, guys. Jesus, I don't know what happened there.
The healing power of Coca-Cola.
I don't even have a sore throat or anything like that. Jeez. I've still got loads of the show to do. I better not fucking die now. Jeez.
Yeah, can't give up now.
Yeah. NXT report card then. I only want to say a few things. Nia Jax is now the new women's challenger. We kind of knew that from some spoilers, from ideas going from last week where they did a big batch of tapings in the last couple of weeks. But she destroyed Blue Pants this week and then threw Bayley through a door.
Not a door.
Well, the door came off like its hinges. It looked pretty badass, actually, to be honest.
As long as it looked badass.
Yeah, it looked good. It did look good. It wasn't like, oh, she threw her into a door, the door just kind of mildly tipped over and she fell over. No.
Or it's just like one of those like two-way swinging doors. It just goes well.
And it's more comedy than
Yeah.
intensity, yeah. Nah, it wasn't that. It was good. But Nia Jax, the new women's challenger, no mention of Eva Marie. It's just Nia Jax going in. It is very early for her, but there isn't many people they can call on now. Well, actually, I say that. I honestly thought either the Alexa Bliss match, you could have had that at the... actually let them had more time and build up for London.
Yeah.
Or you could have done that Eva Marie match from last week at London. I think that would have been hugely serviceable, but
I wouldn't.
you didn't see the match, Matt. You have to see it to believe it. It was
No.
good. It was, man.
No.
It was good.
No.
Jordan and Gable got a victory over the Vaudevillains. They refused the handshake, the Vaudevillains, after the match. So the Vaudevillains may be teasing a heel turn.
Not very manly of them.
Not very manly at all. It's either they're going heel or main roster. That's the only two avenues I see them going down. So
I don't think they'd work.
what, as a heel or on the main roster?
Main roster.
Main roster.
They could be heel, but I don't think they'll work on the main roster.
I think they could work. I don't think Vince can make them work. I don't think that the main roster and the way they book their rising stars can make it work. Because you need, like, can you imagine the Vaudevillains? You can make tons of vignettes about them, right? About them coming up and
The problem is, I think the Vaudevillains have very much a gimmick behind them, and they're not really good at the moment of carrying gimmicks.
Yeah, like, they gave absolutely no. I mean, guys, I'm sure that our fans are sick of me going on about how they muffed up Tyler Breeze in terms of educating no one about who he was, apart from Michael Cole explaining 2 lines of dialogue, which for a good character you need more than that, right? So it's a little bit silly. But anyway, the main problem I have, Matt, is that I'm sure they're going to have a match, but Gable and Jordan have no scheduled match for London. They have come out. They've beaten everyone.
Have they not got a tag match?
No.
I swear they've got.
Because I initially thought they would be facing Dash and Dawson, but they are now the champions.
Enzo Cass, isn't it?
Yeah, Enzo and Cass are going for the belts. So,
not that I have any complaints with that.
Yeah. What I think is they're probably not going to make the London main card. We're probably still going to see them wrestle. They're probably going to beat Blake and Murphy because they seem to be going through former NXT tag champions, and they're really the only ones kind of left, apart from the Lucha Dragons. But didn't they already beat them? I don't know. They might go against them. I don't know. But Blake and Murphy, could probably be their next match that they have, and that's probably that would be the undercard. That will probably be the NXT show that they show, almost like they did at Brooklyn. They showed it the week after all the matches that happened before Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So they'll probably do the same thing again on there, which kind of sucks for them because it's a big deal for them, and they had a similar role at Brooklyn as well. They were on like the before match, so
yeah,
kind of sucks for them, but they are on this. They are being built up as the next huge contenders for those titles, and Gable and Jordan are my favourite tag team in WWE by a clear mark. So, and also, not Gargano, but Ciampa was back this week. Tommaso Ciampa facing Samoa Joe. I'm more sure than I ever have been, Matt, that WWE should just open up their checkbook and sign these guys. Honestly,
I don't get why they're not.
Yeah, I mean they're excellent. Ciampa did his.
It's so bizarre.
I mean, clearly it was a 10-minute match against Samoa Joe, and obviously it was an enhancement match to get Joe over as a badass. But Ciampa was very.
Like we need enhancement matches to get Joe over as a badass.
Yeah. It was just a reminder, if you will, just a tune-up match, maybe as they might have called it. But yeah, I honestly think WWE are missing out by not having these guys, or maybe they're trying to steer away from not having indie stars that can't draw as much. I don't see Ciampa and Gargano drawing as much as other indie stars they could go for at this point in their careers. Because you think Gargano and Ciampa are still early on in their careers, right? So maybe that's the reason. Maybe they're like, well, if we're going to go for someone that's being trained out of house, then we'd much rather you actually be a draw like a Finn Balor or a Samoa Joe for us, because otherwise,
I suppose,
otherwise there's not much point us bringing you in unless we're going to bring you in and train you. But we don't know how much. That might be a lot more work than we're willing to do, right? So maybe, I don't know, but I would bring him in straight away.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So, guys, that's the end of our starting segments. We're about to move on to the Raw review. But if you do want to leave any questions or any comments, or ask us, or tell us which way you'd like us to do the NXT review or segment going forward, you can leave them in the comment section below. You can tweet us. What's that Twitter handle, Matt?
Of @WrestlePod.
Oh, yes, it is. It is indeed. And, of course, you can do it on our Facebook page as well. So many ways, Matt, for them to get in contact.
Such contact.
Mega contact. Such wow. Jeez. So, we move on to our Raw review.
Yay.
Yeah, you're coughing already, Matt. Jeez. This show is taking it out of us this week. Matt,
Yay.
You did not like this.
I don't want to.
Now, for a little bit of spoiler, I wasn't a huge fan of this show, but I get the feeling Matt really disliked it, just from what I've heard already. So
I don't want to be a wrestling fan.
Wow. Woo! Wow, okay.
I don't want to watch Raw anymore.
All right. So, Matt.
NXT only.
let us begin. We're on the road to TLC. And in the midst of... By the way, Matt, for Outsiders, if you want to rage, just go ahead and take it away, okay? In the midst of WWE fighting their own ratings war within themselves, they've got to build up this new pay-per-view, TLC, which is obviously on the horizon. Not new pay-per-view, but the newest. The pay-per-view they're building.
It's a young pay-per-view, but it's...
Well,
you're on about the next pay-per-view.
There's the next pay-per-view, yeah. They're at risk of being outplayed again by NXT in London because of the way things are going. London's being built up as a better show. NXT just is been built up better in terms of anything, in terms of character, storylines. But you guys already know that, as Alberto Del Rio likes to say. Emanated from Pittsburgh. This I don't know how you say that. It's like
Pittsburgh.
Is that how you say it? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like whenever you try and get an American to say Leicester, they go Leicester or something. Maybe it's one of those things. I don't know. So when the ratings are down, and you need an act that is well over and actually entertaining to kick off the show, you call in the fucking New Day. Oh yes. Now you can't dislike the New Day on this show, clearly, can't you? You can't do that. New Day, awesome.
I didn't hate the New Day.
You did take to them this week. Oh my goodness.
I didn't hate them this time.
Okay, all right. They have confetti dropping down from the rafters. Big E tells us that tonight is about a new day. This guy is clearly excited for the LTW awards later on in the show, but we can't go there straight away, Big E. We need to carry on with the review of the show, okay? Jesus, so impatient. He's sweating too, by the way, with excitement. So he dries off using a Pittsburgh Steelers towel. Because apparently Big
T-shirt.
Or T-shirt, whatever.
I'm pretty sure it was a T-shirt.
T-shirt, I don't know.
I was like, that's good heat.
Yeah. But, as I said, it's easy heat. And, we all know that one of Big E's character traits is that he is overly very sweaty.
He's a very sweaty man.
Very sweaty man. All was going well, Matt. I was having a grand old time here with the New Day, doing their thing. Until they bring out Mr. Ratings himself, the new World Heavyweight Champion, Sheamus.
Yay!
Mr. Ratings. Oh,
Mr.
yes.
Shiny.
Yeah. He tells the New Day that their attitude is so infectious. And Big E tells him that it's like Pittsburgh's water, which I thought was a good burn.
Sickening, yeah.
Sheamus thanks Reigns for this opportunity and then goes all in on his promo, being the goofy git that he is. The world champion, ladies and gentlemen. Honestly, if he's world champion after TLC, I'm like, come on, guys. You fucking hell.
Told you.
Yeah. He says you can forget Austin 316 because Sheamus 515. That's how long that Roman Reigns was champion. Says he just kicked your arse. Arse. Because obviously he has to accentuate the Irishness of what he's saying.
Because he's so Irish.
That's it. Now they're obviously trying to get as much heat as they can on Sheamus as possible to get Roman his big win. But as I said there, Matt, they absolutely cannot stretch this rivalry out past a month. They just can't do it. It just doesn't work. The only way this works, Roman Reigns beats him at TLC and wins the title. right?
And we call it a day.
And we call it a day. So, talking of Reigns, he comes out, he Superman punches him, then leaves with the belt. Now, this is kind of a little bit back to the way that I would have booked Roman Reigns, because
It's a little bit of the arse kicker, and then he takes the belt, stands on the apron up at the straw with the cheesiest grin. He's like, I took your belt.
Yeah, that I wouldn't have booked. That one I wouldn't have booked. What I would have done here is tons of this stuff where Sheamus is coming out, he's having celebrations, he's having
2
signings.
seconds. 2 moments.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. See you later. Sorry about that.
That's all right, man. I didn't even end the recording, so I'm just going to leave that in.
Fair enough.
Was there any reason why you left us here for just a second?
I got shouted at.
You were shouted at?
Well, no. People leaving, and it's just like, I'd better respond, otherwise I'm not going to hear the end of it.
Matt, that was you being respectful, damn it. That really was.
That's it.
And everyone should be respectful. Back to what we were saying now. Yeah, so I would have had him interfere with advertisements, signings, celebrations, store openings, that sort of thing. And then Reigns is, like I said, I've already said all this last week, but I would have Reigns hunt this fucker down, steal his title, play by his own rules. But
yeah, sort of go with the like the whole there's no escaping Reigns, essentially.
And it's not so much that he's having fun with it, Matt. This is what he has to do now. This is the level that he's been put to. And he's not smiling at Sheamus when he does it. He's like, this is going to keep happening until I get my title. That's the only thing that's going to happen. But still, they're going...
You don't seem to be learning.
But talking of not learning, this is WWE Creative, and they chose to do Reigns the way they always have done him. But still. Hey, you know, maybe Mick Foley's son can get that shit done. Maybe he listens to the show. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Backstage, Roman is enjoying the title with Ambrose and the Usos. Triple H and Stephanie demand it back, so yeah, he just hands it back.
Sure.
Yeah. Stephanie's squaring up to Roman, telling him to cut the crap. I dislike this, and it's not a gender equality thing. It's if Stephanie McMahon was a guy telling Roman Reigns to do it and he did it, I'd still have a problem with it. It's the fact that Roman Reigns is, by and large, when it comes to the authority, a pussy. If they tell him to do something, guess what? He does it like a good employee. I think it's the most stupid booking ever, but still. And when they say the authority always wins, by God, they mean it. The problem is that the authority wins too much in storyline. Now, the good guys never get over, right? They never have a good face that no one wants to get behind because they're too busy on making the authority get what they want. When the authority should have been dead a year ago, but still. The storyline with the authority has gone on way too long. But.
Yeah.
Trips tells him that Sheamus wants the title match tonight. Roman, of course, says, I'm up for it. I hate it when they do this. They try and pitch the match early instead of the classic build-up, keeping these guys separated, right? You know, the actual match itself.
Such smugness.
Yeah, but yeah, he's just sitting there, oh yeah, sure, I'll do it. And then Stephanie says you'll have to win it under 5 minutes and 15 seconds, otherwise he will lose.
Ha, 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 ha.
Har, har, har. That's right.
See, aren't we funny with your authority? Ha, 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 ha. You like us, love us, don't hate us. We're funny and shit.
Yeah, we're boring as fuck at this point, but still, there we are. I'll tell you what, that's one thing that they really should do if the ratings do drop. Just change one of the things you do to change the dynamic of the show. Just get rid of the authority for a little while. Go with something else in terms of who controls the format of the show, because
But who will be the pain in my ass?
Yeah, who will be the opening segment most weeks? I don't know. Maybe they could do
You're
different.
Playing a dangerous game here, Tony.
I know, dangerous games. First match of the night is Ziggler and Breeze. And I guess I'm cynical, Matt, but booking a rematch of this just doesn't excite me. I'm guessing you were the same.
No.
Couldn't
care.
You just couldn't care. Well, that's what I'm saying. It didn't excite me. So.
No, not at all, unfortunately. It should do. It should have done.
Yeah. Matt, by now I would have moved Breeze onto someone else than just rehashing the rivalry that they just did last month.
Well, apparently it's now 1-1.
Yeah, they're obviously going to go for the rubber match now, aren't they?
Yeah, that's TLC.
Yeah, at TLC. Which I'm like, this is a 2-month rivalry now that you've got.
Just had 3 months.
Out of a storyline that was basically built of, oh yeah, I didn't want to date your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, by the way, who the fuck are you? Because, oh yeah, you don't have any vignettes or anyone telling me who the fuck you are, Mr. Breeze.
Like, why should I care about you?
Yeah, right?
Like, you're just a guy with a selfie stick.
Yeah. So, there we are. I will say, though, Ziggler's pitch-perfect super kick that he did in this match to give him that win was pretty fucking good. That was, I will say that. That was...
Actually, I didn't hate this match.
No, it was alright.
The match, good.
It's just the overall...
Everything else...
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Like I said, we're going to get a rubber match.
Because this was a lot of... there was a lot of back and forward with this match, wasn't there?
Yeah.
There was also like, so you're going for your super kick? Nope. So you're going for that? Nope. Counters and all things like that. And I was like, this is an excitable match. I hope the rest of... Oh, God, it's happened again, hasn't it?
Yeah. I tell you what it was, Matt, though. I was a little bit less happy about this match because I honestly think a lot of this match was rehashed stuff from the match they already had.
Oh, yeah.
So, in that case, I mean, that third match either has to be wildly different or they're just doing the same match 3 times in a row, just with a changed finish. So,
yeah,
still. Miz TV segment, Matt. Oh, I know you love your Miz TV segments. Oh, yes. And I love how every time the Miz tries to get the crowd to say Miz TV, he just gets a muffled "fuck you" as a response. It's like, and now welcome to "fuck you, Miz." Fuck you.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut up. Miz brings out Rusev as his guest for this week, and he says it must have sucked being injured during the WWE tournament. We get a "We want Lana" chant. And I will say Rusev did come up with a response I would have written, which is, yeah, you want Lana, fantastic, but I'm the only one that actually gets her. She's mine. I get to go.
My Lana.
My Lana. He introduces Lana for her return, and I thought that was quite funny after considering it was the week after I blasted WWE for the rumours that management were pissed off at her. I still believe they were true, by the way, but still, I'd like to think.
They could still be pissed at her.
Yeah. I like to think that they came to their senses, but common sense dictates that probably wasn't the case.
They're still pissed at her, I reckon.
Yeah, more than likely. Miz brings up their troubled past. Lana says they fight hard, but they fuck even harder. Love even harder. Sorry, this is how I get when this woman's on the screen, Matt. You know what I get like when Lana's around.
You crave yourself some Lana.
I do a little bit. Rusev is a lucky man. But still. So am I.
To be fair, the one thing I like the most about this one is now we had Ruru, and now we have the Bulgarian Sunshine.
Oh, God. Summer Breeze, is that oh, God. Yeah. Poor Rusev, huh? Poor Rusev. That whole Summer Rae thing just didn't do too well for him, did it? In terms of
the whole Summer Rae thing didn't do good for anyone.
Yeah, to be honest. Not even doing Tyler Breeze that well, Jesus Christ, to be honest. Oh.
This is it. She is the problem.
That's it. Well,
she
actually,
she is a cancer that needs to be dealt with.
She's been cut out. It's just WWE's booking of her. I actually think she's a.
Can I change my answer from earlier on?
Well, you should be fired. Summer Rae.
She used to be good. She came with so much promise, and now look at her.
Because it's the main roster booking her that way. She hasn't wrestled a match in God knows how long.
She used to be so good.
Oh dear, but still. So. Now, while I will defend Lana's rights to post her personal life on social media, this does, Matt, make her character look fucking awful. It makes her look like Brie Bella. With all the things that Rusev said to her and all this lot. And obviously, oh, by the way, now I love America. Oh, by the way, I don't anymore, right? Which is kind of what they're
change my mind. Ruru.
Yeah. She's like Brie Bella. She's basically flipping her morals and beliefs due to what man she's with. And with Brie Bella, it was a little bit different along the lines of, my sister treated me like shit and now I love it. Yeah, 2 fantastic female role models. Well done. Fantastic. I mean, they didn't even have to change it. To me, it was fine just staying the way it is. I mean, I already went through that last week, but still. I'm saying, let's continue that storyline. I wanted it dead anyway, but there you go. Rusev says he never went the full mile with Summer Rae. He just licked out her ass crack. Sorry, guys. It's what Lana does to me. I told you. I get like this, but still. Oh yeah, Lana says she never went the full way with Ziggler, but still. Ryback comes out and says, "I'm sure he's hungry. He's hungry for puss." No, I won't go that far. It's a little bit too much, guys.
This is one thing I quite liked, actually. Is like, I hated this whole segment. I hate Miz TV. I hate anything, all of this relation bullshit.
Yeah.
I almost sound like a bitter man. I am engaged. I am like a man of...
You are a red-blooded man, aren't you?
I am a red-blooded man, but I'm still just like, get this shit off my TV.
I didn't like this. People may be saying because I'm cracking jokes about it. I liked it. No, I didn't like this at all. No, I thought this was crap. But like, it was along the lines of, I could have a few laughs with it, with the whole, oh, I never went the full mile. Then he's having a little bit of a joke about it and stuff like that, I guess. But Ryback coming out, I didn't exactly enjoy him, except for the fact that he was going on, well, I heard that Ziggler did go all the way.
Implying that she was a slut.
Yeah.
The thing I quite like is like, is the crowd. You can always trust the crowd. I never went all the way, and then suddenly you got to, yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Yeah. But apparently the only reason Ryback came out is because he had a match with Rusev, so he had a reason for being
And
out,
so began my night of... Well, my night, I didn't watch it in a night, whatever.
Yeah.
So began the pain.
Yeah, I'm looking down my notes here, and wow, yeah, I'm actually believing you. Yeah, the show kind of fucking nosedived after this, did it not?
Mm-hmm.
All right, then. Shall we begin?
Yeah, let's.
Ryback versus Rusev is the match. Matt?
For a match that lasted fuck all
Yeah.
until it came to a point. Oh no, my Lana, she has fallen over. Count out. Done. The fuck was this? The fuck was that? That was a waste of 5 minutes.
Matt,
on to the next one.
It barely lasted 5 minutes. You're being fucking generous. Yeah, guys, the theme of this show was non-matches. Now,
Well, no, it was 5 minutes. I'm guessing there was the ad break.
Yeah, well, yeah, if you're counting that, yeah, which you're being quite generous. Guys, let me explain this. Matt didn't even know this. I use the term non-match in my notes. What a non-match dictates is a match.
The moment you told me like the term, I was like, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, it's a match that didn't last long enough for really me to make any notes about it. There were a lot of them on this show. This was just the first one. So, there we are. Triple H is backstage. Dean Ambrose shows up, and Triple H congratulates him for getting an Intercontinental title shot on SmackDown. And I'm glad this segment was shown, Matt, because otherwise I wouldn't have known he had a nicey title shot, because SmackDown doesn't matter. So,
but let's not forget, I'm Triple H, the Authority, and I'm funny.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, fuck Roman Reigns, and fuck all those that help him.
Yeah. So he says that if Reigns doesn't win, Ambrose loses his title shot as well. So,
yeah.
Dudley boys are out. They're bringing in a couple of tables.
The salvation. Mild salvation.
There's no salvation to be found in this segment.
There is mild salvation.
So
there is extreme salvation.
Oh yeah, that little bit. But the thing is, Matt, so they come in and they've got 4 tables covered up in black rags, whatever, black like cloths, whatever.
The worst part is, I read somewhere it's like when it's bad when WWE are ripping off TNA, and I'm like, oh yeah, this was a TNA thing, wasn't it?
now I'm all up for when people say ripping off. Sometimes I'm like, well, sometimes you do your own light on it. Sometimes you could do something a little bit better, your own take on what's happened. So I don't really like that ripping off. But however, there are some segments that are so like, what they're being compared to, that it is ripping off. Guys, this was a rip-off. And guys, I barely jumped to TNA's defense. But, yeah, this is a rip-off of a TNA thing. Funny enough, with fucking Bubba Ray himself, Bully Ray in TNA, it was exactly the same guy. Where they had Dixie's name on a table, and, I'm going to put you through this exact table. It's been reserved for you. They just did it here, with the whole Wyatt family. So... yeah, man, I agree with you. You know that you're having creative problems when you're so blatantly and not even, not with any shame, just ripping off TNA. Just, sure. Let's just do it. So.
But he was there.
Yeah, well, that was a good bit. I'll tell you who was there. So, obviously, Devon, by the way, lays down his commandments, which is, thou must not mess with the Dudley boys. Matt, I also know one of those other commandments. Thou shalt not personally antagonize the beast, Brock Lesnar. The reason I know these commandments is because it's from the Church of Haman, which is, of course, from where a lot of the wrestlers tend to go to. So, how many commandments are there? I know thou shalt not...
Of the Heyman Kool-Aid.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I'm sure we'll learn many more of them as we go in. And the Brock Lesnar being the god of vengeful violence or retribution, violent retribution, maybe that was he called it. Man, I miss Heyman, man. I miss Heyman. I could have done with a Heyman promo on this show, man. Oh well. The Wyatts show up and they say they should be the Dudleys should be careful inviting the devil to your back garden, as he might decide to stay. The fact I don't like these guys being in a rivalry a little bit, it's along the lines that we already had the match, but they are going in a little bit of a different direction.
Yeah.
Because they call out their friend. They say they're not alone. Matt's been itching at this a little bit. Do you want to say who arrives?
Fucking Mr. ECW. Fucking Tommy Dreamer.
Oh, yeah.
So happy.
Talking of how, by the way, Tommy Dreamer being here, and the fact that WWE blatantly ripped off TNA. TNA must be looking at this like, we worked with Tommy Dreamer not too long ago. We had that segment.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah. What's going on? Like, it's all being taken away from us. But yeah, still, maybe if they decided to business properly, maybe things would be a little bit different. So the Wyatts do their darkness teleportation thing. When I say they do their teleportation, they go from the stage to the bottom of the ramp. So it wasn't really. It's like taking your car to go to the shops. That's literally just down the road. It's a little bit like you didn't really need to do that sort of thing. So they have a fight here. The ECW contingent get knocked down a little bit. And just when it looks like they're about to get put through a table, Bubba Ray gets up, puts Wyatt himself, Bray Wyatt, through a table, and they manage to escape. And I could dig a Wyatts versus ECW TLC theme match. Oh no, they're doing the match right now. They're not waiting for TLC.
Yeah. And so begins another moment of bullshit.
Oh yes, the Wyatts.
We get 5 minutes in, and the Wyatts tasted blood.
Yep.
And that was it.
Yep.
DQ.
Yep.
Yay. Bullshit.
It was like they basically started the match. They did a little bit of wrestling match just to tantalise you of what could happen, and then decided, well, fuck this. Everyone just get in and attack each other. So, yay! Oh, sorry, that whole thing with the table happened after the match. I got it out of place, but still. If they're going for a plan of doing this because the ECW guys managed to escape from the beating and the non-match that happened,
and there was much rejoicing,
right? But if they're actually going to do this and have like like a sanctioned match, they're going to have like a TLC match with the ECW guys against the, they might bring another ECW guy back to make it 4-on-4. I'm sure the Demolition Derby of it. No, because he's too busy having feces in his hotel room and blood. So that takes up a lot of his time. Remember, so.
RVD?
Yeah, RVD. Yeah, I'm sure. Well, yeah. He's still. I'm sure. I think he's still on contract with them, isn't he? I'm
just thinking of like a former ECW guy who could still go.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a few of them. There's a few of them that can still do it. But the thing is, right? If they're going to do that,
sorry.
I'm sure that the build-up. I don't like this with WWE do it, and they did it twice on this show. One with the world title match, and one with this. It's like, let's not build up to a big match and build it up with these two guys finally going to clash, or in this thing, these two teams are finally going to clash. We're just going to give you a little bit of a match now. And it's like, in their eyes, it's like, well, it's a taster. It's a taster. You should be excited.
Oh, we're such a tease.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. You're actually taking away some of the sheen of these guys actually stepping in the ring for each other. One of the best build-ups they ever had was the Wyatts versus the Shield. Do you know why that was great?
Of recent memory, yeah, easily.
Because they didn't touch each other before the match was due to start. They barely even got physical with each other. They looked at each other, right? That was the build-up. That's all you had to do. And when they finally did attack each other, the crowd were into it because they hadn't seen it before. It was new. It was fresh. But now you're kind of taking a bit of the sheen off it because you're already making these guys interact. I don't like that, but still. Goldust, Matt, versus Alberto Del Rio.
Yep.
Yeah. Zeb Coulter comes out, says, America is full of haters. They have hate in their heart. Well, we do because we listen to Kane and we learn to embrace the hate, Zeb. So, yeah, there we are. Your problem's with Kane, not with us. Del Rio says Goldust is out of date and full of hate.
To which he got smacked in the mouth.
He did get smacked in the mouth, he did. And then the match starts. The match, however, Matt, doesn't last very long at all, does it?
Hey! That's bullshit. There's a Goldust fan as well. I'm like,
You could think that Goldust and Del Rio could probably put on a really good. This is the middle of the show, mind you.
Yeah, they could put on a good. They could do a good match. No.
Yeah.
But it's still just like Goldust has been brought in to be fucked with.
Yeah.
He returned on a fucking pre-show, and it's just why?
I've got something that will make you very depressed, Matt. Guess who's the new Mark Henry? You're looking at Goldust.
Don't do it.
Goldust is the new resident jobber. That's
No,
the
he's
only
not.
reason he was brought back.
Not.
He is.
Not.
Well, you'll have to get used to it.
No.
You
Refuse.
will.
Refuse.
It's just not going to happen. No. Well, still, it's going to be a harsh couple of months, I think, for Matt. For what you know, of course,
Serious denial of this.
Del Rio gets his double foot stump. He wins. The match The match is over. The crowd doesn't care. Really didn't care at all. Del Rio is a textbook case now of how to degrade a huge return in less than a month. He did lock his arm breaker on Goldust after the match. Jack Swagger comes down. You know it's bad with a Goldust when he's being saved by Jack Swagger of all people, but still, I'll see that. I still think the Swagger Del Rio match will still work, just because of the history between Coulter and Swagger himself. Backstage, Matt, Becky is talking to Charlotte. Oh man, I've got a massive thing to pick out of this, and I guess you already know what it is. There was one line in this conversation, so she asks for a match against Charlotte.
Yeah.
Just because I think it would look great, right? Which I'm down for, Matt. Right?
Yeah.
Sure. I'm up for a Becky versus Charlotte match. We've seen that both these women can go. I'm up for that. That should be huge.
In fact, we've never seen them go against each other.
Not really. You know, not in a singles capacity. At very least recently, right?
No.
But one of the things that she says here it fucking annoyed me. Where she says, well, don't worry, it's not like it would be for the title or anything. Oh, fucking hell. Why wouldn't it be for the championship? Why wouldn't you go to her and say, listen, I actually beat Paige a couple of weeks before you had a number one contendership match with her. Doesn't that make me the number one contender? Listen, you're my friend, but...
Surely I can, challenge for that now.
Yeah, surely I should be in the running. Listen, we're friends. I'll always respect you. I'll shake your hand, win, loss, or draw. But I should be number one contender, right? You know, I shouldn't have to halt my career. But she's like, no, don't worry. It won't be for the title or anything like that. I'm like, oh, God, this just reminds me of all the shit that we've had with the Divas. I've always bring up. Then Natalia, I don't care. If I don't win the championship, I hope that everyone does well in the Divas division.
I just hope everyone's having fun.
Yeah, right? So, Ric Flair shows up. I imagine all problems with the Reed Flair debacle was probably dealt with now, because he seemed more than happy to be around. I imagine either that or this is WWE's way of apologising, regardless.
I was about to say that, or they just don't give a shit, but they've not mentioned it at all.
Yeah, just not even brought it up. But
which is, I find shocking. That was that was so good.
What? No, I thought that was disgusting. The whole
was
thing.
Great.
Oh yeah, you said at the time that you didn't mind. I think it was cheap. I think it was a bit.
It was controversial. It raised awareness. It was different. It was such a challenge. They were just like, let's do something that
it was lazy. And it was a fucking cop-out. That's all it was.
It was a cheap shot. I will accept that. But it's just like, it's none of that pussyfooting around.
All right. But still, that's not what we're talking about now.
I approved. End of.
I disapproved. It's not as if we're going to agree on everything, Matt. So there we are. So yeah, Charlotte, by the way, she does go, yeah, sure, I'll have a match with you. Obviously, non-title. Fucking idiot. Lucha Dragons versus the Usos. The New Day are on commentary, and they are absolutely roasting Michael Cole. You didn't like them on commentary, no?
Oh no, I was on about the match.
Oh yeah, the match.
Oh,
I agree with you with the match.
I loved them on commentary. I thought that was great.
I honestly wanted. The only reason I wanted this match,
Just more Big E.
Yeah,
with
just-
his like.
him calling himself Michael Cole's daddy.
No, it's kind of like I'd compare it almost to Eddie Murphy's like white guy voice.
yeah. It is a lot like that. Yeah. I just loved Big E and the rest.
So good.
Big E and the rest of them telling Michael Cole that they're his daddy. I just thought that was brilliant.
But you don't respect your mama, do you?
The match, as you say, Matt, doesn't last very long at all, which was the theme of the show. The New Day break up the match and say, well, because there was no winner, Matt, there's no contenders for them at TLC. And I do love the New Day. They're one of the few acts in WWE that looks like they're having fun every time they go out there. And it looks like they're one of the people that they're doing their thing, and it's almost like they don't really care the consequences at the moment. They're just doing their stuff. It all feels... It feels
natural.
It feels natural, right? That these guys are being just this over the top, but it doesn't look out of place. It's just the chemistry between those three guys are just so fantastic. So, there we go. Matt, by the way, I think they've got a good shout in for Tag Team of the Year later on.
In fact, I saw a guy come into my store the other day, and he had a New Day T-shirt on.
What, the unicorn one?
He did, yeah, the unicorn with the three of them on the back.
You should have given him a discount.
The moment he walked into the store, I was like, you know.
I'm going to tell you where all the deals are, my friend. That's
Come with me.
Put your arm around him. Listen. This is part of the store for the Joes and the average, the squares. I'll take you to the back. That's where all the exclusive stuff is. And you go in and there's like, strippers and all this stuff. I'm trying to think of what kind of operation you're running in your shop, Matt. Don't know.
I can't say.
You can't say exactly, right? Backstage, you're gonna have some of our fans walking in with New Day T-shirts, hoping for a good time now, Matt. I hope you can
everywhere.
Hope you can deliver. If you've got Melina sharing your address to everyone, I'm sure that'll happen.
It's an easy way to get them in.
Yeah, and your penis pills, of course. Let's move on. Matt, I don't know. Are you using penis pills?
I don't believe so.
You're youthful enough to maintain your own erection. So
That's it.
That's always a good thing. Wow, this got personal. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Shady pay-per-view plot, everyone. Involving Melina and penis pills. Stephanie McMahon is dealing with the Usos and the Lucha Dragons arguing with each other. She says, well, you know what? Fair enough. We'll do a triple threat match if Roman Reigns wins his match later on.
Get it? It's like a trend.
Yeah, right. I will say, however, I did like them building up that match. I don't agree with the match itself happening, but if they were going to do it, at least they put the odds on. It meant a lot more than just the WWE title, which you think would be enough, right? They upped the ante a little bit, but still. I still wouldn't have done the match. I for reasons I've already stated. Brie Bella versus Sasha Banks.
Someone who I don't recognise versus Sasha Banks. All of a sudden, it's just like, who the fuck is that Brie Bella?
Is she still around?
Holy shit!
Now I cringed hard, Matt, with the pre-match video. I'm guessing you know where I'm going with this. When you got
Unity.
Yeah, that's exactly.
What was your favorite Assassin's Creed game? Unity. Oh, it's painful.
Oh dear, it was like, how could you make Sasha Banks cringy in 20 seconds? They did it. You accomplished your task. Unity. So yeah, still, it was hard to watch. It really was. What wasn't hard to watch, however, was Team Bad actually being badasses for once and actually just decimating Alicia Fox on the outside and distracting Brie Bella. However, Cole's statement at the end of this that the numbers were too much for Brie Bella just made me laugh. The very fact that in what worlds does he expect us to believe that Brie would have won the match if the match were fair?
Yeah.
There's absolutely no.
It's like, wait, there was a chance in this match?
Yeah. Basically, what they're doing is just progressing the match along where it was going to go anyway. This match didn't last very long as a trend of the show as a whole. But Matt, you already know that.
I already knew that. And in Unity.
Unity!
Unity!
We're just going to add that randomly in now.
Oh, God.
Unity! And we're just literally 20 seconds and they've ruined Team Bad. Sasha Banks is partly ruined. It's like Sheamus ejaculating with his entrance. Once you've heard it and you've seen it, you can't get out of your head and it's done. So, maybe he needs some unity! So, yeah, maybe along those lines. Talking of Sheamus, Reigns versus Sheamus for the WWE title. That's right, Matt. In the middle of the show, when I say that, it was at the start of the second hour and suddenly it became all true. It became obviously clear that they had positioned this match on the top of this on the third hour, just as the third hour began, to obviously try and hold on to those slipping viewers of the show. It's like, well, yeah, here's the match.
Don't leave us,
yeah,
please.
So now, regardless of my thoughts on the positioning of the match or whether or not it should have even taken its place, I will say though, Matt, I don't know about you, I actually enjoyed the dynamic of the match, where the time is ticking down.
Yeah. Completely.
Yeah, Roman's trying to get these rushed pinfalls and is actually causing him a bit of trouble because he's trying to rush the match. He's not pacing himself because he doesn't have that luxury.
Yeah.
And obviously, as it goes along, it looks like he's actually going to win. It looks like he's setting up for the spear. I say that it didn't actually look like he was like it wasn't like Sheamus was like he could have reversed out of the spear or something. But regardless, anyway. Rusev comes in and causes the DQ victory for Reigns, so fuck you for believing this match was legit. Now,
oh, wait a minute. You thought this was a real thing?
Yeah.
Oh, you silly fool.
We were building up to this for 2 hours. Ah, oh, come on, you jackasses, Jesus. Sheamus takes the mic after the match, says that Reigns will have to wait until TLC for their match, and I'm like,
is that after he just like abused Lillian Garcia?
Oh yeah. Lillian looks like she doesn't want to be anywhere close.
Sweaty Irishman.
I think it was that, Matt, but she also doesn't want to fall asleep on the job.
She thinks he's an Englishman. Like, she might actually just refer to him like, sweaty Englishman.
Yeah.
She doesn't know where Ireland is.
No, she doesn't. No, but the thing is, though, Lillian's got a job to do, Matt, and she doesn't want to fall asleep. So being around Sheamus is going to naturally just does that to you. People fall asleep.
Just causes that trigger.
Yeah, people get bored and they fall asleep. That's Sheamus. Mr. Ratings, right? So here's the thing, though, Matt. When he says, "Well, I guess you're going to have to wait until TLC for your match," I'm like, but wait. Didn't they move forward the match you're going to have TLC, and this was the match that was meant to happen? So technically, the match is done. Regardless of a DQ finish, it's over, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's like, oh yeah, well, it was always going to happen at TLC anyway. I'm like, oh, fuck off. Like, really? That's a bit insulting right there, but still. Sheamus says himself, Barrett, Del Rio, and Rusev are now going to be known as the League of Nations. Despite, the fact that Del Rio had just blasted the UK a couple of weeks ago. So clearly Barrett, by the way, is a forgiving type. He's just like, fair enough.
They stand together.
Yeah.
In unity!
Yeah! With unity! God, it's happened, and you cannot stop it. That's what happens. So, yeah. Usos and Ambrose back up Reigns in the ring. They will have a match later on, which is the actual main event, but yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. It happened. So, new faction. People are getting like, oh wow, this is going to be very new. And I'm like, not really. It's not. Like, this isn't a long-term faction. I don't firmly believe it's going to be lasting that long. But still. New Day.
I mean, anything that I can draw a comparison to, like a 2K, to like a WWE game.
Yeah, funny enough, Matt, it is strangely reminiscent. Was it of WWE 13 or 12, the video game?
I think it was 13, but the European faction.
Yeah, it was, which basically you swap out some of the guys for, like, I think you said that Regal and McIntyre was in it back then.
McIntyre and Regal.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah. So, yeah, then basically they're just doing that, which I don't have too much of a problem with, but it's a little bit of a...
Cop out.
Yeah, I just don't believe that this. Like, I just don't believe. Like, first of all, Sheamus being the leader of a group of people, I think that's laughable in of itself. But
oh, come on, dude, Sheamus is a champion.
Yeah, clearly he is, Mr. Ratings. But still, New Day are selling WWE merchandise for Cyber Monday, which obviously happened. I didn't even know that Cyber Monday was a thing, and I'm
Yeah, if Black Friday wasn't awful enough.
Did you get any deals? Like, you fucking hate Black Friday, so you probably stayed.
I
Went
can't
away.
believe it. It's ridiculous. And I had to work the fucking thing.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realise you did. Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
Was it
we have
mental?
because we have to take on everyone else's fucking cultures.
Was it bad in your shop? Was it?
Yeah, it was alright.
That's good.
It was manageable.
Manageable for you. Everything's manageable, Matt.
Yeah,
That's just the way it is. New
because I
Day.
stand in unity.
That's it. Yeah. I'm starting to think the New Day. Unity, you bastard. I'm starting to think the New Day are the true heroes of WWE. They're using their unicorn power to keep me interested in the show. That being said, Matt, if we don't get Mick Foley as Santa this year, I will riot. And by the way, if he doesn't have his crazy hot daughter as an elf too, then I will be displeased. That has to happen.
So basically, we need sort of Mick as Santa, and then we need Noel Foley just as a elf.
His daughter Noelle, who, like I said, obviously delved way more into
the mum side.
The mum side of the gene pool, because she's fucking drop dead gorgeous. She really is.
She has 2 ears and all her teeth.
Yeah, exactly. which is the start, but she goes a little bit further than that, does she not? Jeez. But yeah, she was. I mean, it wouldn't be unprecedented. They did it last year, I think, where she was the elf when he was Santa. But it has to happen. We have to have Mick Foley as Santa. I believe it will happen. I believe. Charlotte versus Becky Lynch. I got a question a few months back. Well, we both did. Saying that Charlotte is hanging off of her father's coattails, and we rebunked it. Do you remember back then?
Oh, yeah. We're like, no, not at all. Yeah. Wait a second.
Yeah. Now, since the main roster move, WWE are pulling on this card so much that they could be mistaken for jerking off over it. It's now they're just doing it whenever they can. As soon as literally any time that Ric Flair is available, they'll book him and put him out with Charlotte. That is getting too much. And the fact that her storyline is her about being a Flair itself. Yeah, I'm certainly not gonna. I'm not gonna fight back.
The fact that she's now become like the dirtiest player in the game as well.
Yeah, right. And Paige is on commentary saying that this match will show who the real Charlotte is. Ordinarily, when she first said that, I was like, "How is a match supposed to show how someone really is?" But obviously, it was in the booking to show her right. Ric Flair's having a ball at ringside, and why not? I thought actually, what wrestling we got before the finish was actually pretty decent between these two women. Commentary though, Matt. Oh, this is my pet peeve. Commentary far more interested in talking to Paige instead of calling the fucking match. I despise when that happens. One of the clips in the intro was me talking about that with R-Truth, right? The fact that they kept talking about R-Truth.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, God. So Charlotte fakes a leg injury. Flair distracts Becky Lynch. And this leads to the most devastating finishing move in wrestling history, bar the PTO on the table, of course. The roll-up pin. And Charlotte pins her by being an asshole.
Do you know the one thing I hated the most about this match?
Go on.
It could have been so much more.
Oh, yeah, don't get me started.
Oh, if this had actually... if this match had gone for, for 20 minutes or so. If this had, gone for long enough that it would, actually have kind of mattered.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Charlotte may actually, Becky may actually win here or something. If all of a sudden, Charlotte used it out of desperation.
Yeah, it was the only avenue that she had left to her to win, and obviously keep up her keep up being the champion, right, or something like that. She got desperate, right? Here it was just like, oh, I can do it, so I will. So there you go.
Just,
I mean, come on. This is down there. This is close to her turning heel, right? By screwing her last friend on the roster.
That's it.
Right? Now, Becky confronts...
This is real pain, because I really like Becky Lynch.
Yeah, well, no, I like Charlotte, but obviously, the way they made her look here was like, she's worse than fucking Paige. At least when Paige says something...
She's gonna become, she's like daddy.
Yeah. No, obviously I don't have a mind of doing that, but it's the way that they went about it. It's a little bit like, oh, okay. Becky confronts Charlotte backstage, and Charlotte just continues being a bitch, saying, right, well, I was trying to teach you something. Yeah?
Yeah.
And the issue with that isn't so much, right? So here's the thing that I have an uber problem with, right? Charlotte, if they're turning her heel, which kind of doesn't make much sense because you got Paige who is heel and, you know, that weird dynamic that I have set up, but whatever. But if they're going to have people turn on Charlotte and she's going to be this tyrannical, like you said, just like her daddy, breaking all the rules to win the championship, which, by the way, even more solidifies the fact that people are saying she's just being everything that Ric Flair was and nothing by herself.
Flair the second, yeah.
Which we know from watching NXT, she's certainly capable of far more than that. The issue is here, when she says all this stuff, which she came out with it very bitchy, she was like, oh yeah, I'm just doing this for you. You know, you should be happy I did that to you. Becky's just like, oh, alright, sure, okay. When any ordinary person, Matt...
How could I ever have doubted you?
Yeah, any ordinary person, any sane person would have smacked the shit out of her mouth. Would have smacked the taste out of her mouth until she couldn't get it back. Yeah. And she's like, oh, okay. And instead they're going, Paige is planting the seeds. And the fact that Saxton then on commentary goes, well, that's what Paige likes to do, doesn't she? She's just like stirring the pot. I'm like, with this booking, Charlotte is the only one being a bitch. You say, she's stirring the pot. Did you not just see what she did? Like, come on, like, don't be a fucking idiot, you moron. But still, I thought this was absolutely stupid. But I don't. Yeah, and what you say there, Matt, maybe having Charlotte against Lynch in a proper championship match, well, not even a championship match, but just the match, maybe should have been saved for a pay.
If it was even still, like, if it was just a half-decent match, and then they were like 15 minutes in,
yeah,
then they took it home as, you know, this whole screw-over thing.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have cared. Yeah, because then at the very least afterwards, after the match, when Becky's like, what the fuck were you doing? Charlotte could be like, look, it was at the end of the match. I had to do everything I could do to make sure I could win. It was really the only chance I had left, and you've got to win in this industry. I can't lose as I'm the champion. And, and Becky could be like, I kind of understand where you're coming from, but, you know, like...
Itch.
Yeah, that was a little bit annoying. But what I'm saying is that what they're trying to do is that they're trying to plant the seeds of doubt in Becky and then eventually draw Charlotte like this, right? Whereas now it's just outright Charlotte was acting like a bitch, right? It's just that there's no grey area with it. It's just... I just thought it was a bit stupid. Adam Rose has a segment here where he apathetically reviews the show and shares the dirt. I imagine this is his new gimmick.
I quite liked it.
I actually
had a laugh at it.
Yeah, I thought some of the writing here actually got a few laughs out of me and the crowd. I thought the crowd were actually into it. I was shocked. I was like, oh, come... Oh, wait, actually... You know,
hang on a second. This is almost funny.
Yeah, this is actually a little bit better than what I usually do. Fair enough. All right, fair enough. Let's see what he does next week. Let's see if they can keep it up, because I imagine they probably can't, but still.
Yeah.
Stardust is backstage. He demands the Ascension to rise, but he only gets Titus O'Neil because the Ascension don't rise. They just lose a lot, so that's what they do.
They always fall.
He's full of Christmas cheer, just like my wife, unfortunately. And this leads to Stardust hissing in Titus's face and Titus hollering for Christmas. Yeah, I imagine that you got great fun out of this segment.
Loved it.
Yeah.
All of it. So good.
Yeah.
I'll go back and watch it again, I think.
I think you got like a little bit of potential of maybe some comedy with the Adam Rose, and then they quickly showed you what their regular routine is. Literally straight after. No breaks, straight after that segment.
Oh, you liked that? Okay, how about this?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Oh, they didn't. They
didn't like it. Okay, well, let's just can both of the bits and never use them again.
The other thing is, I was actually looking at more than anything. I was like, I quite like the detailing in Stardust's like attire. That's what I was more interested in. So I was noticing he's got like almost like a little sunburst thing going on in his chest plate, and I'm like, that's quite cool.
Yeah, well.
More interesting than what the fuck's going on.
I watched this in one sitting, Matt, as I said on the Facebook page. So by now, I was basically gasping. I was like, I want the show to be done.
Gasping? I'm surprised you weren't just comatose.
Yeah, It's just, just sitting there, just like randomly smiling, trying to be happy, but still. Reigns, Usos, Ambrose against the League of Nations, and the New Day come down. Matt, you can't say this match didn't last long, because it did.
Too long.
It lasted too long. Yeah, it was fucking boring. Yeah, I didn't get any fun out of this match, and I appreciate the effort, but it's a little bit like, I don't know. I think 3 hours, and you've already seen a lot of these guys already wrestling matches earlier on in the show, and it's like, I'm kind of ready for this show to be done by now. To be honest, I'm ready to call it quits.
Yeah.
So obviously the face team have a valiant fight, but Dean Ambrose eats a bro kick, and then he wins Sheamus obviously wins the match for all of his 7 team members, and the heels stand tall to end the show. Now, Matt, I do believe, not on a wrestling standpoint, but overall, this show was just a smidgen better than last week. But last week was a damn near travesty of a show. So this was not great by any means. Would you agree with that at all? The wrestling on the show, there barely was any until long after you've signed out of the show and you don't care anymore, right?
No.
You just hate this show in general.
No. Just no.
Just no.
I'm kind of curious to see what Mr. Foley had to say about it.
Well, apparently he liked it a little bit more than last week.
A little bit more than last week, but how can you not? I guess. Yeah. Okay. I guess.
Would you at least agree that last week was worse than this show?
I suppose so.
Yeah. But guys, it's still not good. That's just my opinion. It's
especially when it's like, yay, the viewing numbers are up. Great. You chose a wonderful week to come back to wrestling.
Yeah. The actual wrestling on the show was pretty piss poor. And not so much piss poor, they're just never given a chance half the matches. That was just the situation that's been left into, But that's just the bottom line with that. So this leads to the heavily anticipated, Matt, the Let's Talk Wrestling Awards for 2015. Now, people must have been wondering about who we're going to pick. Some of these categories, I think they may already know. Some of them, not so much, shall we say? Okay. Let's go through them now, and we'll go from. I'll go from just how I've listed them here, and this is how we did it last year. Okay. Because I went through them, picked them all out. We're doing all the same awards from last year. We're going to plan and try and do all of them the same as what we did before. Now, Matt, I don't know about you. I had some trouble with some of these. So some of them I may have missed, maybe a very easy nomination. So I hope either you can chime in or maybe some of our fans can go in.
Yeah.
I've got no problem going in something that's a little bit better, maybe makes me think. Because over a year in general, and plus I've had to watch the actual show, get all these notes done, it's very easy for me to miss something. So I went with something that first came to my head. But overall, some of these things that I'm going to look in may shock some people, and I may have missed over a very easy candidate. So with that prefix, let's begin. Female Wrestler of the Year, my nomination, clearly, without any question, is Stephanie... No, of course not. It's it's Nikki Bella.
That was last year, dude.
Yeah. Sasha Banks, clearly, is my nomination of the year. What's your nomination?
Yes, but Bailey is a close second.
Okay, so you agree Sasha Banks, but
because
you have to talk about Bailey as well.
Yeah.
I agree. I think the only reason that maybe Bailey doesn't get that isn't looked at in the same way is because Sasha had a match with Becky Lynch, and Sasha also
that was also a great... Yeah,
that was a great match, and also she was a great heel in the second match with Bailey as well. So
great.
Excuse me, but I think that's what tips the tides in her favour. I do. Sasha Banks is our female wrestler of the year, and she, to be honest, she has been for a very long time. The stuff that she's done this year on the main roster hasn't worked, but all the stuff for the majority of the year that she did on NXT was groundbreaking. It was a huge year for her. Female wrestler of the year, Sasha Banks.
Easy. Tag
team of the year. My nomination is The New Day. What is your nomination? There are a few different ones you may be able to...
I genuinely can't think of one.
I think if there's one team...
I was going to sort of go, well, maybe... No, I genuinely can't think of one.
Yeah, the way I looked at it was, you're sure there's a few others that you could pick. Maybe you could pick some of the NXT guys, but the only ones that I'd really feel like picking are Gable and Jordan. But their year is next year. That's their year to shine next year.
Yeah.
I think the New Day, from what they did when they debuted a year ago, coming in as faces, everyone just didn't resonate with them. They changed everything. By going heel, everything started to work.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously
Like, the whole momentum shifted for them.
Yeah. Like last year we picked the Usos because they were genuinely having the better matches. But with the New Day, it's about personality. It's about wanting to see them and what they do.
Yeah.
I give them tag team of the year. I don't think there's been any other tag team really that have stolen the show in the way that the New Day has.
Oh, no.
So,
I mean, even if it's not just in match quality, it's just in sheer entertainment.
Yeah, people may argue and say, well, actually they're a stable. Where they're the tag team champions, the majority of their matches are as a team of two. So I still count them along the same thing. So I'm going with New Day. Worst segment of the year. This one was a hard one. I do have a pick, but I'm not entirely sure about it.
Okay.
Do you want me to go with mine before I go with whatever you've got?
Yes.
My pick for worst segment of the year isn't so much... Well, the segment is bad, right? It was because of the domino effect that it seemed to create after it. And it was the very first nail in the coffin for one of their rising stars and how they wanted to book him. It is Roman Reigns' suffering succotash promo.
Oh, God, yeah.
I think that was one of the worst written pieces of garbage WWE have ever put out. And why they made Roman Reigns this big, imposing, Samoan, badass guy in a SWAT gear come out with that bullshit, I have no clue. The other stuff as well, funny enough, is R-Truth stealing the IC title and talking about potatoes. That was particularly vexing for me, right? So
I don't know. I think I have to go with there's one worse for R-Truth. It's not really one moment, but it's just every time he's come out and gone like, yeah, and at such an event,
yeah,
I will be the champion or I will win. It's like, you're not there.
Yeah,
You're not part of it. And somehow that's funny. Don't forget that's funny, right?
Why aren't you laughing? You should be laughing. That sort of mentality.
Silly R-Truth.
Yeah. Ridiculous. So, Matt, I'm more inclined to go with the Roman Reigns one, just for the implications and...
It's definitely one that I still think back on as just like, the hell.
What? I mean, this is this is supposed to be their new face, right? The new breadwinner for WWE.
Yeah.
And sure, people may say to me, well, guys, fans were kind of getting against it, were getting against him at that point. And I'm like, yeah, sure they were. And even if they had booked him without this, doing what they did at the Royal Rumble, still would have been, they still would have booed him for that, right? But this was part of the issue, and the fact they wanted him to be reciting nursery rhymes right randomly, it was just horrific. Now, I'm sure there may be other ones. This is the one that came out to me. It's just like, why the fuck were they doing this? WWE this year moved away from having a lot of the celebrity segments that they had before. Some people may say maybe the Jon Stewart stuff. I actually like the Jon Stewart stuff, so, I didn't want to go...
Hoda.
That was last year. That was our winner of last year's worst book segment. So
was that last year?
Yeah, that was last year.
Has it been a year?
But somehow it hasn't hurt any less, right?
Oh, I thought it was more recent than that.
It still hurts the same amount. So.
Oh.
Yeah. Would you go with that until we can think? Oh, I don't think. To be honest, I can't think of anything else off the top.
Until another moment, no.
All right, we're going Roman Reigns suffering.
Anything Miz related, I suppose.
Yeah, one of my other picks was the Miz TV Diva segment of Who Started the Divas Revolution, which got me very pissed off as well. And maybe that is a better pick for actually being the worst segment because that was just a gigantic pile of crap. But I'm more inclined to go with the Roman Reigns one, so I'm going to go with that.
Fair enough.
Best segment of the year. I have to go with not so much segment. Maybe people might argue this is the moment of the year. Both of these were a bit hard to do. I went with the best segment of the year wasn't the WWE one. It was actually Lucha Underground. The reason I say segment is because it happened after the Vampiro and Pentagon Jr. match, where Vampiro
where it's like you're now ready.
Yeah.
I've been your secret master all along, or whatever it was. It's like, It's so good.
Yeah. I mean, people may say that might be moment of the year, but I look at moments of the year of being things that dramatically changed a big company. Like, for instance, last year we said Brock Lesnar beating Undertaker at WrestleMania. Yeah. That was moment of the year because it dramatically changed the landscape of the Undertaker and Brock Lesnar forever, right? So yeah, I'm going to go with this with best segment. People may argue it wasn't really a segment. Technically it was part of the match. This was just the one that popped out in me when I thought of best segment because
it wasn't part of the match. The bell had rung.
Yeah, well, that's the way I look at it, right? People may argue, but I'm going with that. That to me, I was like, there's very few moments this year where I've looked at the screen and been like, what? What the fuck? That's mental. That's wow. Like that's crazy. And that was one of them. So, are you inclined, or do you have a better segment of the year to give to me?
I'm inclined, but would you not count the entire closing video of Lucha Underground?
Oh man, I think that's really good, and that is more of a segment, right?
As a more of like with all the questions that were left behind about Guaid's like brother and sort of like considering you had a lot of the guys on a almost like a until next time sort of vibe.
Yeah. No, I'm more inclined to go with you, Matt. I think the way they did the ending package was great. Yeah, I don't know.
And obviously, who's that following him out of the?
Because it wrapped up a lot of things in season one, but
and
left a lot of threads.
Well.
Yeah,
probably left more. To be fair.
Yeah, Matt, I'm going with you for that one. I'm going with the ending video segment of season one of Lucha Underground. Either way, it's Lucha Underground, so they win that one. Best segment of the year. The worst booked wrestler of this year. Last year's winner was Cesaro. He hasn't won this year. I don't think they did as bad of a job. I mean, they haven't done as good of a job, but they haven't. Last year they had all the momentum and they squashed it. This year he just hasn't had that much momentum. So
yeah,
partly their fault, but still. I have two candidates. One of them is Damien Sandow for how he was booked after WrestleMania and that whole build-up of him going against The Miz and eventually slapping him and all the people getting really involved in it, and then they just dropped whatever he was doing and made him...
I was going to say, Damien who now?
Yeah, right. My other one, which I'm more inclined to go with, I'm very sorry, Roman, but it's Roman Reigns. I think there's multiple reasons why I think Roman Reigns has been one of the worst booked guys this year. One of them being recent, the Sheamus cash-in. I think that was stupid. Not only that, one of the very worst booking decisions in recent history was the Royal Rumble this year, which involved Roman Reigns. They got an entire arena of fans to boo the fuck out of this guy.
To the point that The Rock couldn't save his ass.
Yeah, that The Rock was standing there and they're like, fucking hell, like, what have they done? Like, they've destroyed him.
So almost looking at him was like, dude, you got heat.
Yeah.
This ain't good heat. They hate you.
They missed the chance to turn him heel, which I think is the perfect way to do it. They missed the chance to what I think to make him the ass kicker in this storyline. Roman Reigns has had missed opportunity after missed opportunity after missed opportunity. So I'd be more inclined to go Roman Reigns is the worst booked wrestler of this year. Who else would you think of? I mean, there's a lot of badly booked guys on the roster, but I think for the potential
for where they could have been to where they are to where they should be,
where they wanted him, no less. By the way,
yeah, that is true.
So, would you go Reigns?
I don't think I can argue with you at all.
Kind of goes hand in hand with that worst segment of the year a little bit, you know. So, Roman Reigns is the worst booked wrestler of this year. The best booked wrestler of this year is Mil Muertes. I'm going with Mil Muertes as my best booked wrestler of this year. What do you reckon? This could be male or female, by the way. One of the thoughts I thought best booked was Bayley.
Yeah, I was thinking Bayley. I don't know.
To try to go into my actual nomination, maybe try and convince you a bit. The reason I say Mil Muertes is because he went through this, not so much transformation of a character, but his storyline was so well done throughout the first season of Lucha Underground. He got beaten by Phoenix. It looked like Katrina turned his back on him. But what it was just a grand scheme to rebuild him, make him stronger, make him more imposing, make him more powerful. And when he came back, he really was this world beater, this guy that you just It looked like you didn't want to get on the wrong side of him. He started beating the right people, but beating them in the right way, like beating them horrendously. And in the end, Matt, he became the world champion of Lucha Underground, and there isn't many people that I think that would be better suited for that position than Mil Muertes. Who you gonna try and battle me with this?
I can't.
You can't. You go.
Can't.
Go Mil Muertes. I just love saying that.
Male rest. Well, we'll probably get there in a minute. My male wrestler of the year.
Okay. Mil Muertes is not my male wrestler of the year.
But
he is my best book wrestler of the year. So we're going to go with Mil Muertes for best book wrestler of the year. The Rising Star Award for a new star that we think is going to shine next year.
Right.
I have 2 candidates. I have not yet decided which one.
Is it a star or a team?
It could be either.
Could it be either?
Funnily enough, one of mine is a star and one of mine is a team.
So could one of yours be Gable and Jordan?
Yes, it is.
Agreed.
My other one is Apollo Crews. But
this is the problem. Is it right? With Cruz, it will be his year in NXT. I don't think it will be his year on the main roster if he comes up next year.
Okay. What about Gable and Jordan then? Because when I think Rising Star, yeah, there's a lot of good guys in NXT. I think we've already talked about Balor last year, so I don't think that's a thing. And Kevin Owens already meteorically rose up to the main roster.
Yeah.
And this doesn't have to be NXT, it could be anyone, but they are the 2 main guys that I'm thinking of that have huge potential. Well, 3 guys if you're looking at it that way.
I think Corbin has potential.
I do, but not as much as Cruz and Gable and Jordan. That's just my opinion. I think he's got a great role to play, but I don't think he's going to sell huge tickets in the way that Apollo Crews and Gable and Jordan could.
Yeah, I suppose.
Eventually down the line. Man, I'm going to give my Rising Star Award. I've just decided I'm going to give it to Gable and Jordan.
Fair enough.
Whether or not you want to try and fight against that is up to you. Whether you think Apollo, even though I brought him into the
I won't fight that.
You think Gable and Jordan? I think so too. I think they've been fantastic. I can only see good things for Gable and Jordan going forward. I really can.
Yeah.
Gable and Jordan, our Rising Stars Award, as we should say there. Moment of the year, the moment that shook whatever we think stood out to us, that shook the landscape.
The last 5 seconds of the 30-minute Iron Man match.
Really? Okay. Well, with the women, right? Yeah,
yes.
Sure. I didn't go for that, although that is a fantastic nomination. I have gone for Seth Rollins cashing in his briefcase at WrestleMania 13.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. I suppose that was a big moment.
That was a big moment.
Biggest upset of Mania.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar.
Never been done at Mania.
Yeah, never been done at Mania, and it obviously set the tone for WWE going forward. I mean, almost too much, unfortunately, but it did. Seth Rollins being the guy for the next 7 months before he got injured the way he did. Yeah, that's the one I go with, moment of the year. Funny that last year it was Brock Lesnar, but these things do tend to happen at WrestleMania. That's my pick. I don't know about you, whether or not you feel strongly enough against that to pursue.
I am still strong against the Iron Man match.
Really? Okay. So do explain.
I think purely because what it was really.
Okay.
More than just sort of like it's a women's match. It's because it was a really good match. In fact, that or Brooklyn.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that in the match of the year much closer soon. Because it's up there.
But because definitely, I think it's just because it was so well done, and it was like it's going to be a fucking tie. It's going to have to be a tie sort of thing. And then it's like so just it was great. I thought it was so well done. I can't really argue it. I guess the only moment where the best way to refer to it as a main moment is because it just was.
the match itself was the moment, sort of thing. Yeah, the way.
Yeah.
I do get what you mean, though. Maybe more of a moment. Maybe Bailey winning the first match may have been more going into it as a moment.
Yeah.
But this one's a tough one. It is. While I agree with you, I still think that that the Rollins one was more impactful. But it is all down to the person, I guess. I don't know.
It's tough.
I don't know. I think, will we do a coming together here? I'll go to you if you do say instead it was Bailey winning the championship that was the moment of the year, not the retaining of the title.
Okay.
Will you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, so we've got an agreement. I think that's the closest we're going to get to it. Our moment of the year is Bailey winning the NXT Women's Championship at NXT Brooklyn. Male wrestler of the year, your pick
Muertes.
is Mil Muertes. And I cannot believe I'm about to argue this man, but I am. My male wrestler of the year is John Cena. Matt's like, what?
Is it because he suddenly found internet fame again?
No, it's because I firmly believe that John Cena has the longest list of good matches this year. Now, some people may argue that Cena, some of the problems in his matches that they got too finisher heavy, that they were, it looked like for some they went too far, like they went Ring of Honor where they just did these awesome super moves and they were kicking out all the time. I fully agree, but some of the level of matches that he was having on a week in, week out basis on Raw for the US title,
especially with some of the younger talent.
Yeah, right. I'm looking at the Kevin Owens match, right? The first Kevin Owens Cena match is a contender for match of the year. So he had some really good matches. Now people might argue and say, well, but in the end it was all just to get him over. Yeah, but what we're asking for is who performed the best overall in the year and who had the most overall best matches. And I love Mil Muertes, man. I really fucking do. I want to give this to him, but my head is telling me it's got to be John Cena this year.
Muertes.
You're still going Muertes.
Muertes.
Mil Muertes. Give me your argument for Mil Muertes. You can break my heart because I do want to give it to him. It's my...
Because Muertes would break Cena.
Mil Muertes it is! Male wrestler of the year! Mil Muertes!
No, I think it's because whilst I can't argue with the fact it's like, oh, no, I completely disagree, it shouldn't be Cena. There's plenty of reasons why it should be.
Yeah.
But I feel that I have enjoyed more Mil Muertes matches than I have Cena matches this year.
Okay.
I feel the booking has been better.
Okay, which is a factor here.
Because it's just sort of like, first, as a storytelling sort of aspect with sort of the grave consequences matches, just some of them, just great.
Okay,
but
obviously the match
I think with Cena's
with Prince Puma at the end, it was very good.
Yes, all the ones with Phoenix.
Yeah.
And they've all been really good. Where as opposed to with Cena, it's like, whilst he has had really good matches and he's had like, hey, there's younger talent coming, might want to keep an eye out on Sami Zayn, Neville. He's had that really good match with Stardust as well. But that's all been the same shit.
Yeah, I will agree with that. Some of that has been a little bit like there have been great matches with Cena. I feel like maybe some people, like when I said that he's had great matches, the 3 matches he had against Owens, I felt were all very similar. So you could probably
his first match against Owens was great.
He had a great match against Seth Rollins, so there is that.
Yes.
2 decent matches against.
Oh, there's a lot of it I can't argue.
Yeah.
But
there's some that you certainly.
But just Muertes.
Mil Muertes. See, my heart wants to give it to Mil Muertes. I really do. I loved Mil
Give
Muertes
in.
this year. Embrace the hate. All right, Matt. I'll give you this one. Let's give it to Mil Muertes for Male Wrestler of the Year. Come on, it does go hand in hand with Best Booked Wrestler of the Year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the booking of someone is very important. John Cena, by the way, I think is very fucking close. I really do. Like if it were down to me, I probably. It's the fact that you don't go for Cena at all, really, and I do give love to Mil Muertes and Cena, so it's kind of like. I gave
Cena.
I know, but not as much as me, clearly. So, yeah, all right, we'll give this to Mil Muertes. Mil Muertes is the Male Wrestler of the Year. But if I'm ever going to defend John Cena, and anyone says I'm a Cena hater after this shit, just know that I defended him here. I did want to give this to him.
You tried.
I tried. Not the biggest Cena fan, but I can appreciate the man's work over the course of this year. Oh, and Seth Rollins, I think, maybe did have a good choice, but he was last year's choice. And obviously him being injured and him being overused this year, I think has, unfortunately brought him out of the conversation. This leads to the most prestigious award, the one that really means the most here on this show. The Match of the Year. I'm going to go through some candidates before my choice. And my choice is flip-flopped between two different choices. So, first of all, I think Cesaro versus Reigns on Raw, the last match Cesaro had before he got injured, I think that's in with a shout. I think the first match that Kevin Owens had with John Cena is worth a shout. I think the match that Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks had, in with a shout. However, I think everyone knows that this is basically a choice between which of the two matches Bayley and Sasha Banks had.
Yeah.
And I've always said, until I had to sit down and think about it, say, what was the better match? I've always said, Matt, that I thought that Brooklyn was the better overall match, the better experience.
Mm-hmm.
Not anymore.
I was going to say, there's a but coming.
There is a but coming. I think the way that the Iron Woman match at NXT Arrival, I think, was it? That was called? Or NXT Respect. Respect it was.
Was it Respect?
Yeah. I think it was harder to book, harder to execute. They did it while getting a lot of fan interaction. I think the stuff with Izzy was fucking gold, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Sasha Banks stuff. The commentary was superb in this match, which does elevate it. It is a factor here. And I think, obviously, the finish and the feel-good moment... Maybe the finish of this match wasn't as good as Brooklyn, but I feel like everything else was better. So I'm going to go with Sasha Bayley 2 at Respect in the 30-minute Iron Woman match.
I am completely okay with that.
You're completely in agreement with that?
Yeah.
Is there any together argument that we could do for the first match? Because the finish, I believe, was better in the first match. Just for the feel-good factor of it, right?
Yes, but I feel that Respect was more groundbreaking.
I get you.
It goes without whole. Everyone keeps saying it. It's because, the first ever to, main event a special.
Yeah. I do, and one of the things I will say to him is it's all well and good having a groundbreaking match when no one's expecting you to do a match of that quality. In the second match, that match was hyped, and they managed to go and match the hype and go a bit further than that, which is incredibly hard to do. It really is. It's very, very hard to live up to everyone's expectations, but they managed to overcome that and do even more. So, all right, I think we're fully in agreement. I think Sasha Banks Bayley at NXT Respect
Part 2, yes.
Part 2, the second match. That is our match of the year. To be honest, Sasha Banks had this in the bank. I think there was really only two that could really go. Like I said, two matches, and it is both the matches
Phoenix.
for her and Bayley.
We didn't even
Grave
mention...
Grave Consequences, fantastic match. I feel that maybe the storyline in that match, the brutality, fantastic. But I just think
the one thing that we were really loving on when it came to that match was the fact that it wasn't just with a casket match that's just sort of let's just chuck him in. There was actually like a story to that match.
Yeah, it was. It was. If you're gonna ask us for best male match, that's probably gonna take it. You know, if I'm honest, I think that's better than all the matches that we listed beforehand. I would like to give a bit of love though, because a lot of people, like I said, have been shitting on Reigns, as we said, but I do believe that the Cesaro Reigns match is well worthy of being talking about. I think it's one of the best matches they've had, and also the Hell in a Cell matches this year weren't too shabby. I just don't feel.
Oh, Reigns' ones particularly.
Yeah, they were good, but I'm happy with what we picked. I don't think there's anything close to that. I think that was. If you're going to give a 10 out of 10 in any match this year, I don't think there's anything else that you could give it to than this match. I think in terms of booking, commentary, execution, the story, you can't get much. You can't get much better than this, to be honest.
No.
It's as close to what wrestling is meant to be in every sense of format. In fact, it should be used as a match that the new recruit should watch and say, this is what you should aspire to be. This is what you should aspire to eventually become. If you can have matches like this, then listen, even if WWE doesn't do good by you, the fans will. You know, they will remember that. I honestly think that this match that Banks and Bayley had was so good. I honestly think there's a good chance they may never ever wrestle in a match as good as that ever again in their career.
No.
Which is
the
alarming.
one thing I quite like is like loads of people say with regard to NXT, like if you fail here, it's on you, sort of thing. But it's sort of like that was just one of those matches that for NXT was just never going to fail.
No. And I tell you what, they proved that if they fail on the main roster, it's not down to them; it's down to the main roster booking.
Yeah,
because
now it's definitely like, what is this main roster bullshit that they're doing? Yeah. And guess what? It sucks. Yeah, we know they can do better.
They're not using Sasha Banks in any way that they should be using her. I mean, look at what of all the stuff that she did in NXT, and she's barely even done like 10% of what she did in NXT in the couple.
Oh, what she's capable of! Yeah,
what she's capable of. She was in fifth gear as a fucking supercharged supercar, basically going down the highway at NXT, breaking new records, doing everything. And as soon as she got to the main roster, like, excuse me, stop. You need to be at 10 miles an hour, please. Go on, do that.
Toddle
off, and that's basically what they've done. So, but yeah, regardless of that, I'm not going to let that dampen my spirits. Remembering that Sasha Banks Bayley match at NXT Respect is just
it's too good.
That's pristine. That's right up there. What was last year's match of the year, Matt?
I can't remember.
I'm sure we've said it time and time again over the course of last year. I can't remember off the top of my head now. It's because I've gone blank talking about this match too much. I don't know. I'm going to have to go listen back. That's the beauty of the podcast. I can go back and listen back. It's fine.
Yeah, because I genuinely don't remember.
I'm sure we've said it loads and loads and loads before, but still. Oh, I know what it was.
What?
It's just because it's so long ago, and no, it's not. It's not that one. That was before WrestleMania 29. You idiot. Was it?
I don't know.
No, it was WrestleMania 30. Yeah, sorry, I'm being an idiot. It was last year was the Wyatts versus
Shield.
I was thinking that was the year before, but it wasn't. No, it was that. Yeah, fair enough. Sorry, I'm getting confused. There you go. I remembered it before we done. It's because Raw 3 hours of the throughout all these years, it feels like longer. That's the reason why I can think of that. Matt, we are done with the show. The 2 hour special. 2 hour special? Over 2 hour special for us. 2 year special anniversary of the show. Have you enjoyed yourself?
I have enjoyed myself.
Fantastic.
Many years left to go.
Well, you don't win anything. This isn't a game show, so.
Oh.
Right.
I've had great fun here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. That's it. Now get the fuck out of here. If you guys did enjoy
Where's my car?
If you guys did enjoy the show, obviously you can become one of our over 500 subscribers now. Obviously we're hoping to hit the 1,000 over the course of the next year, which will be mad. That'll be mental. It'll be awesome. And you can also leave a question in the comments on our Twitter page, which is
at Talk Wrestle Pod,
and our Facebook, which is facebook.com/Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast. All that fantastic social media stuff is in the description below. And we hope that you did enjoy the show. Hope you enjoyed the awards segment of the show. We have really enjoyed doing the show, and I've said show quite a bit because I'm not a big fan of the big show, and Yeah.
I was going to say, don't say it too many times. He might turn up.
He might turn up. It'd be like Bloody Mary in a mirror. So, but still. But yeah, it's yeah, me and Matt have great fun doing this, and we hope you guys have a great Christmas. I'm trying to look at the dates there, Matt. It looks like next week will be normal, is it? Yeah. Yeah, it will be.
So?
Next week is normal, and the week after that is the huge bumper edition, and we're going to be basically reviewing the pay-per-view, NXT London, which is our live perspective of what happened.
Is TLC before or after?
No, it's the week of. It's the
So it's
Sunday
before.
before the Wednesday. Yeah.
Right.
That's why I'm saying that we're not going to be able to catch Raw, because we got to watch that. So the way we're looking at it, guys, to add this, if you guys are interested, right? So obviously we don't watch it Sunday night, so we're gonna have to watch it on Monday. I leave for England on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess me and Matt maybe could watch the butt end of it then, but really we want to be getting excited for our trip to fucking London. Then we're going to NXT London, right? So we're going there. Then the day after I come back. So really, yeah, to be honest, guys, I don't have any. I know I won't have any time to watch Raw. I doubt you will, Matt. So I think we might have to give Raw a skip that week and review those two shows. That should be more.
Oh no!
Should be more than enough to review.
Oh no, no Raw.
I'm going to be rushing to get
not
my
after TLC Raw.
Yeah, whoa, yeah, well, I'm sure we'll catch up with it going forward. I'm sure that anything huge that happened, we'll watch those little snippets that they always do on that.
Like those like YouTube top 10 moments of Raw.
Yeah, we'll probably catch that. But apart from that, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys have enjoyed the show overall. We're not done yet. We still got plenty of time, and hopefully next year I get to put another fun backing track against some of the most funniest moments of the year. Which, by the way, Matt, I think that you're pretty much responsible for the majority of them. So.
Oh yeah.
Calling Eric Rowing a sex pest.
Eric Rowan.
Rowan.
Eric Rowan.
Rowan.
He's a sex pest.
He is. He's pretty.
Pretty.
Alright, guys. Thanks a lot. My actual voice is dead. I'm gone. I'll catch you guys next week as business as usual. And thank you guys for catching on the show. Catch you next time.
We'll catch you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.